and welcome to CRC Live. If you were joining us earlier today, welcome back. If you're just joining us now, it's good to see you. Hope you're enjoying the rest of the day that you have with the live coverage here at CRC Live. I mentioned earlier, this is the first of its kind of live coverage in North America. We're enjoying the trials and tribulations of doing something for the very first time, but we're getting through it, and I hope you're enjoying it. A lot has taken place since we last left you a couple hours ago. There's quite a bit of mechanical attrition, and we might be able to get a leaderboard, a graphic of the leaderboard to show you where the rally is right now. They have finished, or most of the cars have finished Egan Creek for the second run. That's the longest stage of the rally. It's 26 kilometers. This time they're doing it at night. It's in the dark, and it's a tricky stage. Any time of day, daylight, it's a super tricky stage. Throw in the factor of it being dark outside, and it's just quite a challenge for these teams. So a lot of them have gotten through. There's only maybe one car left on the stage, and if you can look at the graphic right now, you'll see the leaderboard after this last 11th stage. Leo Erlichich and his brand new co-driver, Tatiana Nikolaeva, they are leading the rally. Now, they earned this lead after Connor Martel and Robbie Durant had mechanical problems. They had been leading the rally all day long. They won all the stages except for one, and unfortunately they suffered some engine problems and had to drop out of the rally. They're not the only ones who are missing from this leaderboard. If you look closely, you'll see the Arsenaults are no longer there. The Sears are no longer there. There's quite a bit of mechanical attrition. There's still a few other rallyists and other teams who are no longer in the rally. Everyone's okay. No one's been injured. Most of the cases are mechanical, but right now you're looking at the leaderboard. You see Erlichich in first place, Berube and Leblanc in second place, Brisebois and Trépanier in third place. So those are the top three in the national event of the Rally of the Tall Pines 2019 edition. It's the 49th running of this rally. It's probably the longest standing rally in North America. Fantastic for them. Before we left for the break, we did quite a bit of back and forth with Dean Campbell and James Drake, who are on site. They're in Bancroft right now. I know they were able to have a little bite at Subway, I think I heard. Myself, I got a tiny little bit of a nap and a tea, and we're all ready to go. These two guys have been wonderful. They're talented. They're knowledgeable. It's great to have them as co-hosts. They're on site at the Dungannon Rec Centre in Bancroft, Ontario. Let's throw it to them. I know they have a good interview lined up for us, and I can't wait to hear this.
Thank you, Natalie. Dean Campbell here. We were talking earlier, James, during the break about the kind of resume that Natalie brings to the table. She's very generous in her introduction of us, and just some of the results that she's had.
Absolutely, just amazing. So Natalie is 10-time North American champion, 5-time Canadian, 4-time American champion. Yep. We got 5-time winner of the Rally of the Tall Pines. We've got, she's won it with 3 different drivers, so you can see her talent there is in great need. She's hosted, she's rallied and hosted at the same time. I'm not sure I could actually do that, but just an incredible amount of talent and real rally royalty, as we've said many times. So it's amazing to have Natalie join us. So thanks very much. Welcome back to Bancroft, Ontario in the Dungannon Rec Centre. And we have a guest with us, and Dean's going to introduce So
we have Sebastien here from Subaru Canada, longtime supporter of the series, and he's here to tell us a bit about his involvement with Subaru and what we can see in the future. So Sebastien, maybe you can introduce yourself, tell us a bit about your role with Subaru.
Yeah, I work at the regional office in Montreal. I'm a PR for the Eastern region, and I also oversee Rally, the CRC series nationwide. So that's what I do. I've been doing that for the last 3.5 years, actually.
Well, and we're very thankful to have you here, and I know that Subaru's been involved in the sport for a long time, first coming on with the Legacy before the Impreza was released, and then fielding a factory team with the Impreza for a number of years. They took a short break, returned in 2008 with the then new body style of the Impreza, and have carried on for a long time. And although there's no factory team here, there's been great support throughout, through contingency funding, new car purchase programs. So maybe you can tell us a bit about how those work.
Yeah, we have the buying program. So if you buy any Subaru product, new vehicle, and you modify it to rally according to the regulations for CRC's regulations, sorry, then you're entitled to get a $10,000 rebate. It is amazing. So that's very helpful for people to start rallying or to change their vehicle. We also have the contingency program where if you are a Subaru driver, you're entitled to get money either just for registering, starting the grid, past the starting line, or depending on your result, if you finish in the top 6 Subaru people that finished with a Subaru product, you're entitled to get money also. So we've been distributing a lot of money in the last few years, and we're really happy about that. So.
Yeah,
James,
and that's just amazing for the competitors, but it doesn't stop there. You really kind of help out the fans, you really help out kind of people that just love Subarus and rallies. Talk a little bit about if you were just a club member, how can you actually kind of have Subaru help you out?
Yeah, you're entitled to get a $700 rebate on the purchase of a new vehicle, so which is also something that is very helpful if you want to buy a new car, and we're really happy about that also. It's been working very well.
Absolutely. I know that we've had some members join kind of MLRC, the club that runs this great event, to be able to kind of be part of that. So that's your involvement. What's your history in the kind of motorsport world, and what have you done in the past? You joined Subaru 4 years ago, but what's a little bit of history of Sebastian?
I was a journalist for 15 years. So I was working in Quebec with the little magazine, and so reviewing cars, hundreds and hundreds of cars over the years. So I joined Subaru, the corporate world of the automotive industry. So, and when they asked me if I was interested in rally and getting involved in rallying, I was like, yeah, for sure. It's something that as a kid, was watching. I didn't have a lot of knowledge of rallying other than watching rally in Canada and Europe. So for me, it really started 3.5 years ago, when I stepped and joined the bandwagon, if you will. So, yeah.
And now you get to stand in the cold 3 times a year and
8 times a year. 8 times a year. I do them all. Yeah, with great pleasure, actually. It's fun to see people, families, people that are involved, volunteers. So without them, it would be very different. Yeah.
And what about kind of the future of Subaru and rallying in Canada? I mean, it's important to the history of the brand, but how are you continuing that tradition? I mean, I think you've signed some agreements for this year and next. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, we've renewed our engagement as one of the main sponsors for the CRC series earlier this year. We signed for another 2 years, so we're really happy about that. And involvement in motorsport for Subaru, as a brand identity, it's one of our pillars of the company. It's really important, It's being involved at grassroots level also is really something that is important for us.
Now, would you, given your enthusiasm for all of this, have you ever thought about getting in a car yourself and giving it a try?
I did.
Yeah.
Not really good at it, unfortunately. So I'm better behind the desk, to be honest with you, although I really like it. I'm not a really good race car driver, and especially not a very good rally driver. Yeah.
Well,
I get dizzy, so.
So you can really see the kind of it takes some real guts and glory to be able to do this type of racing.
Oh yeah, for sure, absolutely. I mean, the guys and girls that are racing, I mean, they're quite something. They're really rugged, tough people. Yeah. Yeah, I have a lot of admiration for them. That's for sure. Yeah.
And it is pretty incredible. I mean, I've had a few Subarus. My family basically all drive Subarus now, but we've got yeah, good. This is and I think what's incredible is that we've seen in the field and in the fans, in the parking lots and the fans, tons of Subarus out there. And some cars, we've seen Sebastian Clark running an early Impreza. They are incredibly durable, and even now can be quite competitive, even the older ones. So it's really a testament to the engineering that goes into these cars.
Yeah, there's no better showcase than Rally for Subaru. I mean, it shows how dependable, reliable, well-made our vehicles are. You'd be surprised at the number of cars that are running on EOM parts, Some of them are more modified than others, but even those that are really modified have a lot of EOM parts in it. So it just shows how rugged, tough the cars are. They're, most of them have been, 98% of the cars built by Subaru have been on the road in the last 10 years are still on the road, sorry. So, and you have to prove here at every rally weekend, so.
And I would say from a mechanic standpoint too, I've wrenched on a few cars as service crew. Subarus are nice and easy to work on. You can get to everything really well. So yeah, excellent vehicles.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. I'll hire you, but yeah, yeah. You know, like I said, very tough, rugged, reliable, dependable. So yeah, they're for us. You know, motorsport, especially rally, it's perfect showcase to show people what we can do, what we're all about, and it's really important for us. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Sebastian. We're going to go back to Toronto now to Nathalie Richard, and she's going to take it from here.
Thank you very much, Sebastian. That was great. I said that before, I am a Subaru girl at heart. I drive a Subaru as my daily driver. I did take advantage of that rebate that Subaru gives to the club members in the Canadian Rally Championship. We really appreciate all of Subaru's support for so many years in the Canadian Rally Championship, and actually we all know that Subaru is synonymous with rally, so to have it part of our championship means a lot. Thanks very much for that, guys, and now just a message from our sponsor.
Subaru has been in Canada for a long time, building a reputation as champions in the toughest of conditions. 13-time Canadian Rally Manufacturers Champion and counting. Claim your own piece of history for $29,995. Subaru, confidence in motion.
And we're back here. We're going to give you a bit of a talk about what's going on with the scores. There's been some changes. I know Nathalie mentioned a few off the top. Connor Martel out. Unfortunately, he and Robbie Durant had some mechanical problems and so are no longer in the field. It's got to be crushing. I mean, he came here a couple years ago, finished second, and I know that was a score he wanted to settle and finish top of the podium, but not this year.
Absolutely, and was up there. I mean, he really was on his way to the win. However, that's rallying. It does happen. I mean, I've got noted down here the engine's gone, so that could be anything from, I mean, his push rods could look like the ones in my Land Rover, but it could be anything in there. It could be ECU, it could be anything that's helped, which is a shame to see Connor out at this stage. But it's put kind of Leo back to the top.
Yeah, and what a story. I mean, Leo, if you didn't catch our earlier broadcast, Leo has a brand new co-driver. It's his high school girlfriend who he reconnected with after 15 years or so. They've gotten back together in life, and now this is her first time in the car, and she's taken to it really well. They showed up at the end of the first 4 stages here for the first service, both huge smiles on their face. Absolutely. And it's showing in the times. I mean, setting great stage times out there.
Absolutely, and that's a test to Leo's teaching abilities as well. I mean, you can take any kind of greenfield co-driver, put them in the right-hand seat, in the silly seat as it's always called, you can fail. I mean, it's easy to do that, and people have done, or you can get sick. You have no idea what it's going to feel like at speed in those cars, especially at the speed Leo kind of races. And I know they do a ton of seat time, key to their success, and they've gone out and they've done recce practice, and they've been able to kind of just practice, even just listening to somebody over a headset versus listening to them just talking in the car. The rally cars are a very different space to compete in. So absolutely, an amazing job. And I think they were quite tight. I don't have the times for Connor here, but I think they were quite tight at the top there.
Yeah, it was a pretty close battle. I think it was maybe a minute separating them before Connor was out. But you have to remember, Connor's in a top flight open class car. Leo's in a production car, and it's a potent production car, but nevertheless there's some big differences in those two sets of hardware. But I want to point to second and third place overall. We've got really great showing here from Test Racing, and teams that second place team right now is they're running their first Tall Pines. David Berube and Mary-Lou LeBlanc. So
yeah, that's just crazy. I mean, be it to come here on your first event. Alan Ockwell spoke about this, about how this is one of the toughest events in North America. If you can prove yourself here, that's really proving yourself as a driver, and coming in second and third. Looking, if I do some really quick math, there's probably only about 25 seconds between them. Dean will probably correct me once he does the math himself, but that's really tight. So you've got to imagine how many kilometers these guys have already done.
Yeah.
It's probably 100 kilometers worth of stage, more than that, probably nearly 200 at this point. you break that down to 20, 35 seconds, and how much that is a second per kilometer is incredible. So that's pretty incredible. Now, going back down here, there was some tight battles. Sorry, Dean, go ahead.
Yeah, we'll just touch on the third place, and then we're going to
Go
head
ahead.
to our next segment. But third place, again, test racing with Marc-André Brisebois and Marie-France Desmarais. And a great performance from them. Marc-André is relatively new to rallying, and he's been putting on a great performance. He's learned fast. His day job is as a stuntman, so the danger is not a concern for him. But what a great result for them so far. Now, we'll come back and catch up with a bit of the rest of the scores.
Absolutely.
You can give us a regional rundown. But first, I'd like to introduce our next guest. It's going to be Leanne Janilla is joining us from her home, I believe in Calgary is where she's calling in from.
Probably warm.
And great experienced co-driver. She's doing a lot of interesting stuff, co-driving both in the States and in Canada, but also representing Canada on the international level. And I'll let Nathalie take it from there. She's going to pick up the conversation.
Hi, okay, as the guys said, we are going to be talking with a good friend of mine and a fellow co-driver, that's Leanne Janilla. They did mention that she is calling in from her home in Calgary. There's a photo of Leanne there. Hey Leanne, can you hear me?
Hey Nathalie, yes I can. Hopefully you guys can hear me over there.
Perfect, yes, we can totally hear you, and we can see you up on the screen. I don't know if you're watching, but nice photo.
Thank you very much.
One of the big reasons why we wanted to talk to you today is about Women in Motorsports, the Women in Motorsports Commission that is with the FIA. You have a big role in that as far as Canada is concerned. Tell us all about it.
Sure. So at the start of 2019, I was selected as Canada's representative on the FIA Women in Motorsport Commission, which is a group of women from around the globe who work towards, improving the status of women in all aspects of motorsport. So from competitors to team managers to engineers to mechanics, we want to get more women involved in the sport any way we can. And the commission is chaired by Michelle Mouton, and there's a lot of people
the legend Michelle Mouton.
Yeah, she's an absolute legend, and everyone at the table is, they're all my heroes. So it's been an amazing learning experience to meet all of these women and hear how motorsport has been developed in different countries, and how they've gotten more and more women involved in their own countries, and it's been giving me ideas for how we can get more women involved in Canada.
Which is fantastic. And the other good thing is it's giving Canada another reason to be on the international scene, like having you represent us at the meetings that you go to, and I know you're traveling for this. It's fantastic to have the Canadian representative at these meetings and, have a presence for our country and the motorsports and, what we're passionate about. Tell us about your most recent meeting. It was about maybe 2 weeks ago, I think, and you had to travel to Paris. I say had to, you got to travel to Paris.
Yeah, it's a great privilege. There's a little bit of jet lag that goes along with it, but I was in Paris 2 weeks ago for the final meeting of the year. The group meets 4 times a year in either Paris or Geneva, so the travel is all long distance, but we had a lot of interesting discussion there. There's a lot of programs that they work on for getting young girls involved. A lot of the reason that there aren't enough women involved at the top levels of motorsport is that a lot of young girls don't know what it is, or they don't know how to get involved, or they're not, sort of encouraged in that direction. And so a lot of what this group does is work on trying to get young girls involved and try to build a pathway for them, so that they can they can move up through the sport and have opportunities to do so, network with other women who are doing it, and find role models in the community that they can look up to.
Exactly. And, as with everything, children are our future. So the more that we can get the young girls involved in motorsport, and that's in, as you mentioned, any factor. It could be competing, it could be engineering, it could be officiating, it could be broadcasting, whatever it is. There's so many different roles that women can hold in the world of motorsport. And if we can reach them when they're young, then hopefully we can help promote and develop more and more women in Canada that are involved in this wonderful sport. We just want to thank you, Leanne, for joining us. It's been great to have you on. I love that you're Canada's representative on the Women in Motorsport Commission with the FIA. Thank you so much for all the work you do, and we really appreciate you with us today.
Thank you, and it's great to see 30% of the competitors at the Tall Pines Rally today are women. So
perfect.
Every one of them.
That's great. Thanks very much, Leanne. And we're going to head back to the Dungannon Rec Centre, where Dean Campbell and James Drake are there, and I'm sure they have another interesting interview lined up for us.
All right. Thank you, Natalie. And we're here. Yeah, we've got a few new guests. So. Standing beside me is Terry Epp, National Series Manager for the CRC. And James, I'll allow you to...
Thank you very much, Dean. Yep, welcome back. Great to hear from Leanne there. Thank you, Natalie. But we're standing here, as Dean said, a couple of guests here. And I've got Bruce Leonard here. We've spoken to Bruce a little bit earlier. Bruce has many different hats. Today, your main hat is the Rally of the Tall Pines coordinator, and we'll talk about that. But Bruce is also part of the MLRC executive as well, and you're the treasurer of the club, so you deal with all money man, always bugging me for my updates. Yep. But also runs the Polar Bear Rally, and I'd like you to kind of comment on that as well. But my first question is kind of how is the rally progressing from when we spoke earlier? How is that progressing now? Later into the day, few DNFs, no other problems. I think we're running pretty smoothly today.
We're pretty smoothly up until B2, I guess. I guess one of the course cars had an issue, one of the lead course cars. That's put us back about 35 minutes. So we had a quick sub in from an experienced team to take over that course car duties. Past OPRC champions, Ryan Huber and John Van Oss. So that was good. They just stepped up, and that was just a natural to take that place, yeah. And go ahead.
No, awesome. I mean, the event is amazing every year. It's great. You were at the 49th running, 50th anniversary, so there's a bit of confusion there. Maybe next year's the 50th running, 40.
Yes. Yes.
So it does change. 50th tomorrow.
Next
but,
week, yeah.
Absolutely.
It starts tomorrow.
Everything starts tomorrow.
Everything starts tomorrow. The 50th starts tomorrow.
Absolutely. Dean.
Well, Terry, I introduced you as a National Series Manager, but you've been involved in so many ways, wearing many different hats. I don't know that we have to go through them all, but if you'd like to, we certainly can. But I do.
It's been much too long. I mean, when they said this morning that it was going to be the 50th next year, a chill went down my spine. I said, oh my goodness, I've been at 48 of them so far. And in the 49th, I was in England with organizers trying to become a WRC event. So it was the same weekend. So, yeah, I've been around a long time, apparently.
Well, and I want to talk about your recent role and the involvement as National Series Manager under your vision. The series has grown from 6 to 7 to now 8 events. So we're seeing more uptake across the country. What's it like to manage bringing these new events on, and how does that help the vision for the sport?
Well, the board decides the number, but I bring the events on, especially when they've been a regional and into becoming a national. There is a lot more to it than they expect, so I'm there to help guide them and help them through it. The Charlevoix this year was returning to the national championship, but with a completely new organizing committee. So many of them had never worked on a national event before. They did a really good job. There was lots of communication difficulties, but the event ran on time, started on time. Oh, they did a really, really good job. It is mostly making sure that everyone is the same in terms of how they interpret the rules and the way they run their event, and the safety is in place. That's my biggest role. And then I help them by reviewing their documentation to see if there's holes or if there's a little error or something else can be added to make it better. But that's mostly what I do, is just add support when and where I can.
Well, and that mentorship's a big part of how Rally advances. We've got a lot of really experienced people, and they pass that knowledge along. I know, Bruce, you've taken over as coordinator this year.
I have, yes. And you talk about mentors. Ian Wright is the mentor, being the coordinator for the past 8 years of Tall Pines. And the core committee is just, it's amazing. The coordinating is, are you doing this? Are you doing that? Yeah, it's all good. It's not so much organizing as making sure everything that needs to be done is done and meshes together seamlessly. And great core committee, Donna and Ross and Mike and Ian to help. It's just been amazing. Inundated with emails. I will clean up my email box the next 2 weeks.
One of the things I wanted to ask you, I mean, obviously we touch on the kind of grassroots of the sport and how this sport grows. I mean, we're not just standing here as the national kind of series coordinator. This is not just a national event. There's a very important regional event that kind of bubbles up in there. You're part of the Polar Bear Rally, which is even lower in the grassroots. So how important is that grassroots program to feed the sport and also having this large national, and I'm going to ask you both the same question here, having that large national event but also that regional event as well, Bruce?
Well, something like the Polar Bear Rally, which is a TSD rally, time, speed, distance, or navigational rally, anybody can enter it. It doesn't have to be specially prepped car. It's the same as Rallycross that you've done for so long. Bring your car, run what you brung, and for the most part, Polar Bear is a more challenging TSD rally, being overnight and in the winter in this area here. So we're using the same roads as Tall Pines, and it gets pretty popular for that. But it's a way for people to learn how to work together, to in the car, and how to read the instructions, follow a route. And really, it's just have fun, and that's
what this sport's all about. I want to thank you both because the roles you play in helping inspire everybody else to go and have fun and make that happen. We're going to head back to Nathalie in Toronto, but thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, guys. I got to say thank you to Bruce via this interview segment, I guess, earlier in the day, but this is the first time we're interviewing Terry Epp. He's played a major role in the Canadian Rally Championship for years. He started off as a competitor. He's now the National Series manager, and he has been for a long time. Terry is someone who has put countless hours into rallying to make sure that it is what it is right now in Canada. So thank you so much to Terry, also to Linda. Can't forget her. She's always in the background somewhere. So it's great to hear from those guys. Right now we're looking at, I'm looking at the live tracking, and I can see that the cars are on their way to the second running of Lower Old Hastings. You can see the leaderboard up now. Same as before. It hasn't changed actually because they haven't run a stage since the last time we showed it, but Leo and his co-driver Tatiana are in first place. They are almost 7 minutes ahead of Berube and Leblanc, and in third place is Brisbois and Trépanier. So congrats to those three. There's still lots of rally kilometers left, so anything can happen, but right now this is the leaderboard as it is. I just want to say thank you to everyone who is tuning in, both on Facebook and YouTube. I'm getting lots of messages. Brian in Ireland. I had Julian message me from the UK, the Fatellas in Chicago. My mom and dad, they just wrote a message too. Thank you everyone for tuning in. And now here's a message from our sponsors. Canada, Confidence in Motion. And supported by Frontex Solutions Incorporated, Work Smarter. The Rally of the Tall Pines is made possible by Lincoln Electric with support from the town of Bancroft, Ontario. This live stream is an initiative of Formula Photographic and Bose Media with on-site editorial by Dean Campbell Editorial and technical support by TV2Go.
Thanks for those updates, Nathalie. It's been a real pleasure to be working on this project. It's been a great opportunity that we've talked about for a long time now. Christopher Bowes, Warwick Patterson, and myself, and James Drake, as we've co-hosted last year. We've talked about what it would look like if we could produce the live stream of our dreams, and we've been really able and fortunate to be able to work towards that this year with the support of TV to Go. They've been providing all kinds of expertise, technical equipment to make this happen, and we've been able to apply all our ideas and bring them all forward. And it's, you know what, it's been a lot of fun.
It really has, and we joke about listening to ourselves talk a lot, and we've mentioned it. We used to be roommates. We chat a lot, and it's amazing to be able to bring these stories to the people watching. I mean, we've seen thousands of people today really watching this and being connected to the event. And then not just couldn't make it from Ontario. We've got people I know in Boston watching. My cousin in the UK was watching. This is a global reach, and it really is thanks to TV to Go, I can't even speak.
Photographic, yeah.
How about Warwick? We're just calling Warwick. Warwick and Chris and Dean. Being able to invite me and Nathalie to the team as well has really kind of been quite awesome, really. There's no other way of doing it. First time in North America to do any kind of coverage like this, and it has its issues. We're in the middle of nowhere, and it's really cold. So to be able to kind of get around that, and we've had some great interviews and some great technology to be able to get this done, and it's fantastic. We've got some students here working some volunteer hours as well, so a shout out to everybody kind of holding a camera and a soundboard as well, so they can mess with levels and fiddle with knobs and kind of so you can hear us, so it's pretty awesome.
And one of the great things about being able to live stream through social media as well is not just that it's a one-way thing. We get comments back, and we've solicited those from you all event. And James has gone through and pulled out a few of these questions, so we thought we'd have a go at answering them.
Absolutely. And we've had to doctor them a little bit. Some of them weren't perfectly great questions, but we've gone through them. We've got some great. The biggest couple of questions were right at the beginning of the day. What tires are on and what is the weather? This question came up over and over again, mainly because people are not here and they have no idea what it's like. It's cold. But really, it's quite an interesting weather. I've been here, and so's Dean, and most people are here. We've been here in 1 foot of snow. We've been in here in 1 foot of mud, servicing in t-shirts, servicing in everything you've ever owned because it's minus 40. It really can be very different. This is the kind of second to last weekend in November. It's the first cold weekend.
Yeah, it
right?
really is.
So I know I'm wearing 3 or 4 layers today, but it changes the conditions of the tires and how the car reacts. So it's really kind of can be quite tough. Tall Pines is known as what tire should you run? It's basically bring them all.
Bring them all.
And
yeah.
It's amazing the conditions we saw, and my producer Warwick and I were chatting about this a little bit earlier at the Iron Bridge stage. We actually looked at that stage and went, have they tarmacked this? Because we all saw it snowed here 2 weeks ago. We got a ton of snow. This week was a little bit warm. It all melted, and what happens is that moisture gets into the gravel, into the soil. Now, the town of Bancroft, one of the main sponsors of this event, are amazing. They do a ton of road work before the event. They get out there, they make it as smooth as possible, right? So we don't kind of rip up the roads. But what we do then is they smooth it out as well. So it froze. It actually froze the solid, smooth gravel. That's like tarmac, yes. Yeah,
and what we saw at Tate Farm was we could hear those tires squealing in one corner, the very next corner, soft mud. And so what tire's right? Well, I don't know. And I don't think anybody here really is convinced they made the right choice.
No, absolutely
But
not.
it comes down to sort of what's your skill, what's your comfort level, what are you most accustomed to? And picking the one you're most comfortable with is probably the best choice.
Absolutely.
We'll pick up more of these questions, but for the moment we're going to head back to Toronto.
Hi, I think I heard James say something about it being cold. I don't know what you're talking about, James. We had the air conditioning on, turned it off right now. I'm just nice and cozy. Thank you very much. But thank you guys for being out there. I do know it's cold. I do know what it's like being at Tall Pines. And yeah, I can see your nose getting a little red there as well. I appreciate that you guys are out there braving the cold for me. I'm nice and cozy here in studio in Toronto. And we're now going to have a look at the live tracking system. That's going to show us that the vehicles, a lot of them have gone through Lower Hastings, the second running of Lower Old Hastings. Once they finish that, they'll be on to what the next stage, which is Middle Old Hastings, and then from there they'll go back to the very last service of the day before they finish off with 2 spectator stages. Now we hope to be on those spectator stages showing you some live footage from those stages. Hopefully this works. We'd love to show you the footage, and we are going to throw back to Dean, and he's with James still at the Dungannon Rec Centre.
And we're back, and quick little adjustment on James there. But we had a few other comments that came through social. So James, you had an interesting one there about road position.
Yeah, so it was an interesting question from Mike Shaw. He asked why 5th on the road is the best position to be. Now, you might think, well, I want to be first on the road. I want to be out there. I want to be the fastest. I want to go. But you got to remember, this is you against the clock. It doesn't really matter. You're not racing wheel to wheel. You're racing kind of by yourself, a 2-minute gap or a 1-minute gap. So the only thing you've really got to go on is what's happening in the road, right? So if the first guy goes out, it could be snow covered, it could be just fresh gravel. You have no idea where other people have taken their lines. You have no idea where people have braked or maybe gone off, hit a bit of ice that might be kind of hiding in the trees. So if you step that back a couple of notches and you're, say, 4th or 5th on the road, you're actually then going to see these different braking zones. Somebody might have gone off on a patch of ice. Somebody might have kind of gone a little wide or exposed a rock, or they've cut a corner and exposed a rock. So all of these things kind of come to light. Now, you don't want to be last on the road because of a few different reasons, or 10th on the road. One, the road doesn't get destroyed, but it kind of deteriorates over the time, right? These are grippy tires, so they're spreading mud and gravel across the road. So you're really going to get quite messy the further you're back. You've also got the chance of something happening on stage, right? So if you've got a car off and you have to slow down to check they've got the okay, or you've got the red cross and you actually have to stop, or somebody's got stuck and you need to pull them out, you've got that less of a chance when you're kind of higher up. So that kind of sweet spot is the 5th, 4th, 5th, 6th on the road, depending on the event, right? So gravel or snow or tarmac, you're going to see some different options. So a great question there by Mike.
Now let's take one more question, because we do have some scores we want to get back to, and there's a couple other stories I want to cover. But you've got a couple more questions written down there.
A couple more questions. One of them was rally routines or superstitions that people have, and I haven't seen him around here, but there's a guy here by the name of Warren Hayward. Now, if you ask him do you know what his rally superstition is?
I'm not sure I do, actually.
So if you ever notice it, when he's at kind of waiting around and he hasn't got his full suit on, he's got his layer of Nomex underwear on, which is the kind of the layer between skin and obviously your race suit, but he wears it inside out.
Oh, okay.
So I've raced with Warren, I've co-driven for him, and it's actually, he wears it inside out, and he does it at every race, and it's kind of a little superstition that he has and one of the routines that he goes through. But we're going to throw it right back to Nathalie in the studio back in Toronto.
That's interesting, those superstitions. I don't have any myself. I just have more routines, not necessarily superstitions. Anyway, but those are always interesting to hear. We are seeing lots of people chime in on Facebook. I appreciate that. John Hall, yes, we have been seeing you. Mike Shaw, you're always piping in. That's fantastic. Thanks everyone for watching and tuning in. Like I said, you can watch it on Facebook or on YouTube, and we appreciate all your input. Right now, the guys, like I said, they're at the Dungannon Rec Centre in Bancroft, Ontario. They're there because after this final stage of the current leg, the B3, 4, and 5 leg, the cars will be headed back to the service area, and James and Dean will be there doing interviews as the cars arrive into service. So they're going to stay put for right now, and they're going to get all the drivers and get the updates as they come back into service. Until then, we will watch a recap of the all-wheel drive battle from 2018.
(2018). Call it the Wild West. Uncharted territory. In most sports, the champion returns to defend. This year, that spot was left vacant.
I saw that Antoine Eustache was not running the whole year, so I figured, hey, maybe I have a chance at it. That moment would be a game changer for us, yeah.
It created a battle that ran deep into the season. of the sports stepped up.
We started off by doing personnage, and then we went to the other event, and the points were keep coming up. We didn't have any other choice than to go all in for the rest of the season. And I knew that I could finish every event and score strong points. So I thought, yeah, maybe it's my year.
It's pretty open for everyone to take the win or podium spot, so I'm looking forward to that.
Simon Vincent played the long game, earning points step by step.
I'm not pushing every event to be the fastest, but I'm thinking about the championship of scoring points at every event. I know Simon is pretty constant in his driving. He never had an off-road or any crashes, major crashes.
Young maybe, but not inexperienced. Karel Carré focused on raw speed. His first time at Baie des Chaleurs, he excelled.
It was at the end of Baie that we felt like we had a chance for the championship.
Same at the Pacific Forest Rally.
I thought that he might have an off through the season, and I was counting on that, but he didn't.
And again at the Lincoln Electric Rally of the Tall Pines.
These all events that we had never done before, and we performed well.
Each rally, the battle intensified. Two teams worthy of a title, both supported by the same race shop.
The fact that we're in the same team doesn't really change anything. It makes it even more fun, I think.
In rally, experience usually wins over speed. Though fast, Carré also proved wise beyond his years, clinching the championship at the penultimate round.
Welcome to the club of the guys who are doing championship and staying on the road all year long.
The young kids are very fast. They make me feel old once in a while.
It was an ideal scenario, one he dreamt of as a kid.
C'est assez incroyable. Je veux dire, c'est quelque chose qu'on rêve depuis plusieurs années.
For Vincent, with his chin up, he would settle for second.
So in the end, congrats to Karel. He deserves it.
Big, bel job. Ouais, ça a été le fun.
It's a season that will be talked about for years to come.
It's been a great battle. We had fun. It's been an amazing battle between us.
Excitement that teams hope to experience again in 2019.
And we're back here. James, I wanted to talk about one of the stories that I found really entertaining today. I spoke earlier with Pat Sear. He puts on such a great show, but unfortunately things got caught out today, and they ended up on the roof. Everybody's okay. Car is fairly okay, actually. The wheels are all pointed the right direction and still turning. Mechanically it's quite sound, but it'll need a couple fenders, it'll need a windshield, it'll need a roof. But I wanted to find out what exactly happened. So he was on the Egan stage, and he passed a car that was pulled over. The triangle was out. Okay, no problem. Keeps going. He saw the okay sign. Then he saw Philippe Benoit, two-wheel drive competitor, and went, whoa, I've made up all this time on Philippe Benoit. And he got a little excited. And what he didn't realize was Philippe Benoit actually stopped to confirm that everybody was okay with that car. So it wasn't so much that Pat had driven really fast. It was just that Philippe had slowed down and checked in. But it got in Pat's head. He admits it. He said, I got really excited. He's like, I thought I was driving really fast. And he said he didn't really listen very well to a note. They got caught out, went onto the side of the car, up on the co-driver's side of the car, over onto the roof, slid for about 50 meters on the roof. Oh. Both of them are okay. The car, they drove back here, but that windshield was finished. And so they just weren't able to continue. He's a bit bummed out, but he did say that they're taking some time over the winter to work on the car to make a bunch of improvements and come back for Rally Pelsneige.
It'll buff out. I kind of imagine when I kind of heard the story of him being kind of in Naked Gun, when they kind of always kind of turn the car over, and it just kind of does these little loops of them kind of buckled in, going down the road. It's just hilarious. And Pat's such a great guy. He probably just would have been laughing and a big smile on his face as soon as that kind of, he came to a stop. And the first thing you say when you've done that, you go, co-driver, you're okay. Yes, you're okay. Yep, good. Then you kind of laugh about it, but I can see him having a good time in that event. So
he did say, he probably said some words that we can't say here, but
yes,
but
no beep button on here.
He did say he said he's like, I guess I hear that in rallying a lot of people roll, and I said, well, there's two kinds of people in rallying: those that have and those that will. And now he's in the have camp. So there we go.
And the best people are in the have camp.
Yes. James, you've rolled.
I have rolled. It's one of the best stories of Pines ever, of me rolling on the inside of a corner in front of VIPs.
Well, as fun as that is, let's go to a story that you have a competitor here.
A competitor here today. So one of the things I heard when I was interviewing kind of one of our competitors, kind of near the back, and not saying a slow competitor because that's definitely not what I want to say, but one of our back competitors, Margaret, when she kind of said she had to pass her husband on stage with the OK sign, I was like, that's going to come up over dinner at some point in the near future. It's like, are you going to do the dishes? No, you can do the dishes. I went past you with an OK sign, so I think it's your time to do the dishes. I know my wife and I would have to kind of joke about that. She'd probably just really kind of rib me about it, actually. But it's a great story. It's great kind of camaraderie about family, and it shows family how you can be kind of anybody here and still race. So a great story from the back as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think the real joy of rallying is that while there's interesting battles up at the front and people fighting and pushing, we mentioned earlier, two teams who are destined towards the podium that it's going to be their first chance to do that. It's still pretty special because all the way through the field, there's always interesting stories. It's a great chance for us to be able to walk around and explore those stories, catch up with what's going on.
Yep.
For now, let's go back to Toronto and catch up with Nathalie.
Well, I'm glad to hear that the Sears are okay after their roll. They might want to book a massage after, sometimes when you have those accidents, it's nice to get a little massage in there afterwards. When I first started rallying, I used to do a pre-rally massage, but I think it would be smart to start booking them for post-rally. I literally was just texting my massage therapist, Kaylee, and I was trying to get in for later on this week. Anyway, hopefully those guys are feeling okay. We're going to look at some footage of Crazy Leo, as a lot of people know him. Coming into any Tall Pines, Leo is one of the favorites, and with good reason. He's seen the podium on more than one occasion, and he's actually, his latest podium in Bancroft was in 2017, which we'll look at in a second. But actually, as I mentioned earlier in the show, 2011 was his shining moment. It was a huge field, a lot of talent that field, but at the same time, there was quite a bit of mechanical attrition. Anyway, let's have a look at some footage from Leo. Back then he wouldn't have been considered the favorite, but he was young and learning to manage his obvious speed and his desire to win. And as he looked for a more balanced approach in his racing. 2011, as I mentioned, was a year of attrition at this rally, but he managed to stay calm, stay on the road, and come out in top spot.
Leo leads the production championship and is second overall in the title chase, but a small mistake throws off their rhythm.
And crazy mud.
Touched the brake, nothing. Went straight, e-brake, parked it close to the marshal's car into a tree, but no big deal, just cosmetical.
Erlichich clinches the production class championship and third overall.
Stayed on the road, we're production champions. Mission accomplished. Now I can enter something and go flat out.
3, 2, 1.
Yeah, Leo's always a very happy, excited, passionate rally driver. He was shown there with his co-driver at the time, Alex Kirani. We already mentioned that he is co-driving for the very first time, or teaming up with the very first time, his co-driver and girlfriend, Tatiana, and she is loving it. She was definitely bitten by the rally bug today already, and I'm sure she's still all smiles as they're leading this rally. Right now, we're going to go back to Dean Campbell, who is at the Dungannon Rec Centre in Bancroft, Ontario.
Thank you, Natalie. Yeah, James is headed over to the check-in for service. Teams are coming this way and should be arriving shortly, so we'll head to him a little bit later. But first, I want to talk about what remains in the evening. We've got a 30-minute service. Teams are coming in for that, so one last chance to fix the cars after this last set of stages before the final 2 stages of the event. And a short 10-minute reseed to get them all tightened up, get them into order based on how they've been performing so far. So it's a chance to check everything over. Now, nighttime can change a lot of things. Focus is a little bit different. It's late in the evening. It's cold. Drivers are tired. Co-drivers are tired. So mistakes can happen. We hope that's not the case, but they've got 30 minutes to fix whatever may have gone wrong, to maybe make one more tire change depending on what their strategies are, what they're finding out there on the stages. What everybody will head out to next, though, is a brand new stage. It's never been run before, called Cross Country. It's north of town. I've been told it's very fast, lots of fun, flowy, good character road. Not the tough technical stuff that teams have found out in Egan, but more in line with what we've seen on the old Hastings stages. And it should be a great challenge and a bit of an equalizer. No matter how many times you've done this event, you haven't run this stage, so everybody's going in with a fresh set of notes, their fresh interpretation of what that road ahead looks like. I do want to thank everybody for joining us. You've been following this championship on social media all season long, or you're new to it, whatever you've done, you've been a fan for a decade. Thank you so much for following us. If you haven't, give us a follow on Instagram at CRC Rally. You can hashtag, if you're here, you hashtag your photos, or if you're at other events, hashtag CRC Rally as well. Of course, comment on Facebook. Let us know what you're thinking of things. I know you've been asking questions all day, and we really appreciate it, and we'll do our best to answer more as the event goes on. The Canadian Rally Championship, this is the penultimate event. We got one more coming up, Big White Rally, in 2 weeks, and that's going to close out the season, the 8-event season that we've had this season. It's been pretty exciting, of course, and we wouldn't be able to do any of this without the support of Subaru Canada, so I want to say a big thank you to them. Next up, we've got a highlight pack with David Berube, so I'm going to let that roll now.
Bonne nouvelle pour David Berube et Marie-Lou Leblanc. Ils font partie des concurrents locaux qui aspirent au succès ici. Et voici que l'occasion se présente. Ils établissent de bons temps, alors que les équipes plus rapides ont rétrogradé au classement.
On répare les petits bobos, mais tout va bien. L'année passée, ça a été un peu moins bien. Cette année, on est vraiment content.
Always fun to see, and actually I'm pretty sure I heard Philippe Rasseur there doing the commentary. Nice to hear him doing that as well. Okay, so right now we've got James Drake, who is at the Dungannon Rec Centre. He's waiting for the cars to come in. I'm not sure if he's ready for us yet. The cars are definitely not there yet. They have probably started the last stage prior to service, which is the middle Old Hastings. In the meantime, while we're waiting for them, we're going to throw back to Dean, who probably has some wise words of wisdom for us.
Well, I don't know about wisdom, Natalie, but I did want to comment. We heard in that last clip, of course, in French, both the notes and the commentary. And I think what's important to recognize is this series has such a strong foothold in Quebec. 4 of the 8 events in the National Championship are held in Quebec. And we'll kind of run down a bit of the calendar. I don't have all the dates exactly in front of me, but I can give you a ballpark. So the season always kicks off with the Rally Passe-Neige in Maniwaki, Quebec, north of Ottawa, about 2 hours north of Ottawa. It's near the end of January, beginning of February each year, and it's brutally cold, minus 40, but huge snowbanks and really narrow forest roads that can make a real challenge as a real test. The longest stages are up to 40 kilometers long. We'll catch up on the rest of the calendar in a minute, but first I'm going to go back to Toronto with Nathalie Richard.
And I'm not going to keep it very long because I just got word that James Drake is ready for us at the Dungannon Rec Centre, just at the check into service where the cars will be coming in. There he is. Hi, James.
Thank you, Natalie. Yep, we're standing here right at the exactly where the cars will be stopping just before they check into service. Now, some of the regional guys will be finishing right here, but they will be coming up right behind me. Now, as we're told, they're doing the Middle Hastings stage. This is the second time that they've run this stage. They would get used to it, but it's very different from the last time they run it. If we remember right, last time they did it in the daylight, a lot of ups and downs and ups and downs and yumps and humps and jumps, and what can look like a non-deceptive corner in daytime, those lights completely change what you're looking at. Shadows move differently, the lights make it feel different. Now, co-drivers will have a little light inside, so they're just trying to read, but the driver kind of does have to kind of deal with the different conditions. It's also getting colder, right? So is it going to be a little bit more icy than it was? Now, if people have put some gravel onto the road, and then with that comes a little bit more slippy, a little bit of gravel onto ice, can change completely what the conditions are really doing out there. Now, as I said, this is kind of where they check into service. We spoke about this a little bit earlier today. Rallying is not just kind of going as fast as you can on a stage. It's all about a timed day. You have a certain time that you have to check into a stage, then you're given a start time to that stage. It's usually the top of the following next minute. But then from that, you have to calculate what your late time would have been for the stage, plus your transit time, and that's the time you have to check in to these controls. So they're going on the co-drivers, as soon as they finish that stage, they go, okay, we did it in 9.2 seconds, but then you've kind of got 11 minutes to do the stage, and then they add it to the transit, and that's their check-in. We're going to step it right back to Natalie while we wait for those cars to arrive.
You know, it's interesting that you talk about the math that's required to be a co-driver, because when you're in the car, you finish a stage, there's a lot of adrenaline pumping, and simple mistakes like 4 + 7, those are errors that sometimes happen for co-drivers. I know when I was training with a trainer in Quebec, he used to throw mathematical equations at me, and just simple ones, but while I was on the Stairmaster or something like that, just to see how my brain was reacting and if I was still getting the right answers as I was, you know, my heart rate was increased and whatnot. So anyway, just a little thing that I used to do way back, because those mistakes, they're simple calculations, but mistakes happen all the time. So better to double check, triple check with your with your driver, make sure that you're not making a 22 + 11, you know, and come out with 34 or something like that. Anyway, we're going to look at some scores from the final stage in this loop. This is the Middle Old Hastings, which is stage 13, and still 2 more stages to go in the rally, but if we look after stage 13, we can see that Leo and his co-driver Tatiana have won this stage again. Berube Leblanc are in 2nd place, and Clark and Guité in 3rd place. So that was a quick time for them. Good job, guys. So right now, we're still looking for some of the times to come in. A lot of cars haven't finished this stage yet, but shortly the top cars will be arriving into the Dungannon Rec Centre. They'll be talking with James. He'll be getting some of their updates, how the stage went. I just want to mention that this Middle Old Hastings, I said it earlier in the day, but Old Hastings is a long road just outside of Bancroft, and what the rally does is they break it up into 3 different sections. So the southern part of it, is Lower Old Hastings, then you've got Middle Old Hastings and Upper Old Hastings. So the middle section, that's the road, the stage that was just run, it's the shortest of the 3, and that was 7.2 kilometers long. So a lot of the cars have finished that stage and the 2 stages prior to it to make this one loop of 3 stages. They're now headed back to the Dungannon Rec Centre. Hopefully everything is okay for all the teams that have just left service for those 3 stages. Maybe we'll have some stories. Maybe James will be able to get some dirt, some juice for us, and we're going to throw to James right now, and hopefully he'll soon hear from the drivers.
Thank you, Natalie, for that. one of the things in rallying is anticipation. What is going to happen? What has happened out on those stages? You know, we don't have the budget for a live camera on every corner. So sometimes you just kind of stand here waiting, going, what happened? Where are they? What are they doing? We've got live tracking, and that's how we can able to kind of see where cars are, see what's going on the stage a little bit, see if somebody stops, if somebody stops on transit or goes even the wrong way on transit. But there's a lot of anticipation of what's really going on. What's going on in the car? Is there a domestic going on between two high school kind of lovebirds? But it really is kind of an interesting dynamic where we don't get to see what's going on all the time. And we stand here kind of waiting for those cars to arrive. Now, we are getting word they've finished that Middle Hastings. Now, we've talked about the transit times to get here. Cars are always given enough time at the speed limit plus a few minutes to get here. There is a penalty if they check in too early. It's a bigger penalty than checking in late. You check in early, you've had to break the speed limit, and that's a bad kind of thing for the organizers to do. There's always enough time to be able to figure that out. Now, if you're late because you've had to stop, you've had to do a tire, there is a smaller penalty for every minute late that you are checking into the service. Now, I can hear the rumble of a Can-Jam Subaru behind me, and guess who it is? It is Crazy Leo. Perfect timing. Now they're coming in here. I'm looking at the car. It's looking pretty clean. I see co-driver doing. They're going to pull up to the yellow board here. I'm going to see if I can get Leo. Leo,
would you like fancy lights?
I would love the fancy lights. Perfect. Leo, how was the last few stages? You've done Middle Hastings again, Egan. How are you running?
We can't believe what's going on, right? Like we're on a date here, just cruising, and then obviously I don't know what to say. I can't believe we're doing that well. Like it used to be, you had to work your ass off to be fourth in a rally like this, to be like on pace, somewhat fourth. But yeah, just lucky and everything working good. Tatiana did unbelievably amazing job, and I'm not saying it because I'm being nice to her. During the day it was amazing. At night it's much harder. She's never sat in the car at night before. At night she's always a bit behind, and she's like hard on herself. We're still like winning stages like by tenths, right? Like I don't know.
Absolutely, we're watching you.
Yeah, but I mean it's great. I'm still having fun. Now just like, okay, if she calls a bit late, I gotta brake harder. Okay.
Now, Tatiana, how are you feeling with kind of any seasickness or any road anything?
No, I don't feel like any sickness or something. Excitement, yes. Adrenaline, yes. Confident in my driver now, like throughout all the stages. So yeah, having fun.
That's
I think
awesome.
he can drive without me though, like a couple of.
He can. We've all seen it. It's fabulous to see you guys out here, and good luck for the rest of those night stages. Brand new to you, so good luck. We're going to carry on down the stage here, but we've got just a great story. I mean, it's amazing to see these kind of stories unfold. People that have never done the event leading. Leo has won this event in the past. It's so good. So who do we have here coming in second? We've got some car number 7. You're coming in, you just finished the last Hastings stage. How's everything running for you? Running second on the road, is that giving it its own challenges?
Yeah, everything works great, but it's slippery again. I have a 034 tire, but the tire are pretty done. So yeah, we're gonna put new tire for the last 2 stages and be smart. Yeah.
Be smart is very kind of a good idea. I mean, these next 2 stages, brand new to everybody, brand new to anybody who's running this event. Is that going to change the game? They're short stages, short little sprints. You're not going to win or lose on these. You could lose the event very easily. So what's your strategy? Just, right, go home now.
Yeah, just keep the same pace as the last one. It's my first time here, so every stage is new. So yeah, I think I don't catch Leo in front, so yeah, it's okay. It's okay for us. Yeah.
And your co-driver's doing okay over there?
Yeah, doing okay.
Perfect. Good stuff. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's great to see. Again, we've spoken about kind of the new guys coming to this event, doing really well. It's a tough event. Even just standing here and talking about it, we're getting pretty tired. So moving on back here.
l'association.
Sorry. Oh, that's okay. We'll dance later. How's the stage going? How's the race?
This morning it was not last plan, but now we have fun. So I start to figure out with the sequential, and I'm having fun.
Having fun. Third at the moment. Is that how we're running? Do you think?
Third.
I don't know. You tell me. How's your co-driver telling you?
10th.
10th? Really? Okay. Well, we'll go with that. That's still fun.
Yeah, we finish. But we're gonna finish.
You're going to finish. You got 3 stages left. You're going to change tires. What
3 left.
2 left. It's been a long day for all of us. 2 stages left. What do you think?
No, I don't think I'm gonna change the tire.
No.
No, it's safe like that, and when you're on nice spot, I know I can brake, so I prefer to stay like this.
Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. You keep it on the road, and we'll see you at the podium.
Thanks.
These cars look in great shape. I mean, none of these cars are coming back with a bumper hanging off. We've seen a ton of that kind of in the past. Nathalie has probably seen a fair share of attrition over the years as the Mini rolls in behind us. But let's go and see. They've just kind of... Benoit, let's see how Benoit and Dubé go, kind of leading the 2-wheel drive, I believe. They're just kind of pulling in, getting helmets off, gloves off. These cars run hot. You think they don't... kind of run with any air conditioning or a lot of heat, but when you've kind of taken out a lot of the interior, you do kind of find that these cars run very hot as well. Everything okay there? How was the last stage?
A bit tricky actually. There's a broken brake line on the back of the car, so the car, when I touch the brake, it wants to push on one side. I have to think about that all the time, but it went good. It went good. The loop actually went pretty good.
Really
even
good.
yeah.
Egan was perfect.
Yeah, but pretty much.
As Egan can be. You're laughing. Is there a story there?
We mangled with the brake all the time. It broke just before, just after the refueling. Whoa, what's wrong with the pedal? So I clamped it with a very small. Vice grip of some sort, and so it's so small it stayed there. It's not too heavy to fall off with the bumps.
So you have a bit of service left now. You have some service time. Do you think you're going to change it, or just run it for the rest of the day and just get home?
I'm a bit concerned about our position now, and the car seems. I'm used to what I've just done in a couple of stages, and we've looked at the margins and everything. I'm kind of afraid of mangle with it, and we somehow we don't have pedal after. Or I just want to finish, and apparently it's going to be good. So maybe it will stay like that and do those 2 small stages.
Maybe it'll become your rally superstition, and every rally you'll have to play with. You'll have to race with a vice grip on the back.
Yeah.
We shall see you at the finish. We're going to head back to the studio in Nathalie. Absolutely, handing it over to Nathalie in the studio in Toronto.
Thanks, James. It's really good to always see these competitors. They're so passionate, they're happy, they're enjoying their time, and I don't blame them. It's been a long day for them. They have a lot of stage kilometers under their belt. There's still 2 more stages to run after this service, and I know they'll be looking forward to the end of the day. Right now, we're going to have a look at some footage of the upcoming, a throw to the upcoming rally in 2 weeks' time in Kelowna, BC. It's the Big White Rally. A lot of fun. I love competing in snow. There's not much at Tall Pines this year, but just have a look at what Big White has to offer. Now, doesn't that look like fun? I've said it before many times. I'll say it again. Rallying in the snow and winter conditions is my favorite. Yes, it's cold outside, but there's so much fun that can be had. And actually, as a co-driver, I feel that you have to be a little bit more on your game, because if the surface is icy, it's harder for the drivers to react. If there's any kind of late call or anything like that, you just can't have that. So you really, really need to be on your game. You don't have the same kind of grip that you do on the gravel. So yeah, snow rallying, winter rallying is my favorite. If you are someone who is right now watching, you're out in BC, you're in Alberta, you want to have a little road trip and volunteer at Big White Rally in a couple weeks' time in Kelowna, BC, get in touch with the Canadian Rally Championship. They will put you in touch with the organizers, and I'm sure they will always use as many volunteers as they can. So feel free to reach out. It's a good time. It's a great chance to see the cars up close, to talk to the drivers up close, and perhaps get your first experience at a rally. My first experience was well, actually maybe not my first experience, but very early in the game during my first year I did volunteer at a rally out in BC. Even though I'm from Nova Scotia, I happened to be out in BC visiting my brother Pat, and my friend Rennie and I, we went to a rally, and actually that was my first time really working on time cards and everything. Anyway, so we're right now back with James Drake. He is at the Dungannon Rec Centre at the check-in for service. It's the last service of the day. What do you have for us, James?
Cars are rolling in. This is it's good to see. There's no real kind of big news from the stage. A lot of people have got a little bit of the cars are kind of starting to break. We were talking with Burby there about the brake line, rear brake line breaking, and getting the kind of a little bit of a clamp on there. Very funny kind of handling under braking on the cars. So little stories like that kind of rolling in, some good stories, bad stories, but no big kind of offs. And this is where not only kind of car and attrition can happen, but tiredness. We've been going since 9 o'clock. 9:01 was the first car out of here, and we've got probably a good couple of hours left of racing out in the woods. The cold sets in. You probably haven't eaten as well as you should have done all day as well. So pretty fantastic. So I think we're going to throw to Dean. Is Dean kind of able to take some get some interviews over there?
Good.
Okay, and we're here in the service park with our rally leaders, Crazy Leo. You guys are just laughing.
We're laughing.
Yeah.
This is a date. I don't know.
It was supposed to be fun. It is fun so far. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. That's great. Now, one of the things I know you guys spoke with James earlier, but what I wanted to know is we're heading out to a new stage. It's a new road. Everything's new for you here, but Leo, this is a road you haven't done before. So I want you to describe how you approach a new stage road when you're thinking about making notes, what you're looking for your first pass down.
Okay, well, if I may, first strategy for now. We had, before even the last loop, like ridiculous, over 5 minutes lead, so we should really just like stop on the stage and have sex in the middle and keep going. But
cut this, please.
Can't, it's live. but you know me, like I normally never back off because I want to have fun. But even with Tatiana, it's harder for us at night because harder for her to see the places, to relate that to what we saw in the recce in the daytime. But the last one, I still want to kind of go for it a little bit, you know, when it's... Sure. Now, when it comes to new stages, you just study it and watch the video many times. Tall Pines has open recce, which we're very, very lucky with, so we did a lot of passes on it. Now, you do have to keep to that boring 60 km/h speed limit, but you just play the video on super fast, you know, after and pretend it's fast and see what happens.
Yeah. Okay, now the notes you have they're unique in this series. Let's put it that way. There's a lot of interesting deviations from what we normally hear, and it's almost like a new language.
Yeah.
So talk a bit about what it's like to kind of wrap your head around that and understand the right pacing.
Oh, that was a challenge. Oh my God! First of all, it's not my native language at all to study it. So yeah, I have to pronounce it clearly so he catches all the details he needs. But it is like interesting challenge, like the one you really want to try and do. Hopefully I'm doing not bad so far. Yeah, winter like night stages were more difficult for me. Like I don't know why, tired or just because of the slides or etc. But yeah, he's a challenge. He's like a challenge of my life. Yeah.
But they're very precise. So if you're in them, you usually know, and you saw this during the day. She knows exactly where they are because there's so many descriptors, and yeah. But the new stage is interesting. It's Ross Wood, the clerk of the course, asked me, "What do you think about it after the recce?" So you got to go at speed first to tell. Yeah.
So you'll let Ross know after the rally?
Yes. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, we look forward to hearing about it too. For now, we're going to head back to Nathalie in Toronto.
So big smiles on those two. They are currently leading the rally. Some of you are asking what happened to Connor Martel and Robbie Durant. Unfortunately, they suffered some engine failure, some engine problems. That was on stage 8 of the day, Middle Old Hastings, the first pass through that one. So even though they had won most of the stages up until that point, they are out of the rally. And when that happened, Leo and Tatiana took over the lead. They are leading by just under 8 minutes ahead of Berube and Leblanc. Benoit and Dubé are in 3rd place. That rounds out the podium. This is the overall classification for the 2019 Rally in the Tall Pines after 13 stages. We still have 2 stages left. It is the spectator stage. It's a brand new stage to the rally, and nobody has run these stages before. They're new notes for everybody. It's an 8-kilometer stage. Like I said, it's run twice, back to back. We do have cameras on the stage, and we hope to be able to show you some live footage from that. Right now we're going to go back to Dean Campbell, who is at the Dungannon Rec Centre in Bancroft, Ontario.
Yeah, there we go. Thanks, Nathalie. I'm here now with David Berube. And David, what a drive you and Mary Lou are doing. This has been incredible. Your first time here, and can I say you're sitting in a podium position? Is that, can we say that? Is that fair?
Yeah, for now it's that, but yeah, 2 new stage for everyone left. The rally is not over, but we're happy to be there, and yeah, we hope to do a podium now. Yeah.
And that's an incredible performance. Your first time here. A lot of people come to Tall Pines and take an awful long time to get on the podium. Talk about the pace and the concentration and how that co-driver relationship really helps make sure that you guys are on pace in a good way.
Yeah, we have to be smart here. Yeah, to have success, you have to be smart. So yeah, me and Mary Lou is okay. The notes are pretty good, and yeah, we just the chemistry is okay. Yeah, it's perfect. So just smart all day long. So yeah, it's pretty good.
And I'm sure there's a lot of friends back in New Richmond that are watching this live stream right now. Is there anything you'd like to say to them?
Yeah, in French.
Yeah, en français.
Merci beaucoup à tout le monde de nous suivre. On est content. Le rallye n'est pas fini, mais ça s'en va vers la fin. Puis je pense qu'on a la possibilité de podium avec ce qui s'est passé aujourd'hui. Fait qu'on on est vraiment content d'être là. Au championnat canadien, c'est les points. Ça va être bon pour le championnat canadien aussi, qu'on ne visait pas nécessairement. On est déjà champion du Québec. Fait que c'était un rallye de plus qu'on a fait. On est vraiment content. Fait que merci à tout le monde de nous supporter, à tous les Québécois.
Thank you very much, David. Best of luck. We're going to head back to Nathalie in Toronto.
Thank you, David. For anyone who doesn't speak French, what he was saying there was thank you for all the support that they've received from everyone back home. They're right now doing super well in their first time at Rally of the Tall Pines. And he's really happy. He knows there's 2 stages left. They're vying for the podium. If they can finish those 2 stages as they are right now, they'll be super happy. He also mentioned in his interview with Dean that the chemistry is going well. I should hope so. They are a couple not only inside the car, but also in life. So congratulations to them for making it work. Right now we're going to go from the Lincoln Electric Rally of the Tall Pines and throw back to the full coverage and from PFR 2019, which was just a couple months ago. Let's have a look.
Past the halfway point in the 2019 Canadian Rally Championship, the teams head west to face off in the mountains once again. With his main championship rivals staying home, Karel Kare has made the trip in search of major points.
We're aiming for the best points possible, but we're not aiming for a win at all costs.
We've got nothing to lose, so we could take a little bit more risk, and hopefully we can go for a podium spot, if not the overall.
But Mother Nature is having none of it. Snow in September in the high mountains. Will the extreme conditions level the playing field for unique talent to shine? Or will the second-generation ice and snow master run away with it? It's the Pacific Forest Rally, and it starts now. Welcome to Merritt, British Columbia, home of the Pacific Forest Rally. Snow has blanketed the hills around town, leaving teams guessing as to what tire choice will be best for the conditions.
After what happened at Défi, we decided to come here and maybe score a few points. Tire choice has been something quite special to think of. We had a special cart in our pockets, which are C5 tires. They're kind of made for a gravel stage, but with light snow, exactly like we're supposed to have up there.
It's been an interesting day of recce so far. Tons of snow coming down up in the hills, but pretty just wet and moist down at the lower elevations, which is kind of thrown into a weird tire strategy game. So it seems like most everybody's running out with gravels for this to Friday stages. So I think they're counting on people making some tracks and then keeping it together if you're further down the pack. In the front end of the field though, it's kind of a toss-up. Do you go with the snow tires to get better traction, or you go with the gravels to get a stronger tire that may not flat?
So this weekend I'm third on the road, which is a new position for me. I've never been quite so far ahead in the field, but with these tricky conditions, my main goal is just to stay on the road and finish the rally. From everything I've heard, I'm going with gravel today. I think we might get some snow overnight, but we'll see. Hopefully I made the right choice.
At the moment there's no snow, so we think that the gravel tire is the better choice. But we could be very wrong. We will see what Philip is doing. He is running A34s.
So some say we may have made a stupid choice, but I'm still confident. There'll be much snow still left, and we'll see who made the good choice.
The weather is really wild. I don't know what it's doing up there. I don't think anybody does, but we'll throw some. You do. I do? Yeah. But we got gravels on. We'll go see what we can get done.
You can do this.
No, I know.
Believe in yourself.
And
Don't look at the rest.
You too.
I know I can. I did it already.
Oh! Very good.
Fun and games aside, it's time to head for the mountains. It's wet snow on top of mud for most of the 8 stages. 36 teams are evenly split between all-wheel drive and two-wheel drive. Skill will be much more important than horsepower given the treacherous conditions. The Canadian Rally Championship is presented by Subaru Canada. Confidence in motion. Championship points leaders Karel Carré and Samuel Joyal are first on the road. With tire choice being the biggest question of the rally, Carré is taking a gamble. He's running an old set of Michelin C5s, a tire designed for deep snow conditions.
Dans l'endroit de 4 qui rouvre et qui referme. Qui rouvre et qui referme. Dans gauche 4 mi-short.
But they have also proven to be effective in wet snow and mud. Near the start of the stage, they aren't looking like the right choice. But as the altitude increases, they could be a secret weapon. In either case, the reigning champions set the pace early on. As an instructor at Seattle's Dirtfish Rally School, Sam Albert has the skill set to tackle any road condition a rally can throw at him. Sam and co-driver Krista Skoukas have plenty of experience on these roads, but have had mixed results in the past. They've opted to run gravel tires on these stages, which is proving to be a handful outside the racing line.
5 plus left, okay, 100. 6 left, hug 6 left, 180.
Having finished just off the podium at Rally Défi, Dave Wallingford and co-driver Leanne Junilla are looking for steady improvement. With only 8 stages making up the rally, they're attacking the stages from the word go. But in these tricky conditions, a small slip into the snow sends them for a ride. half roll causes little damage, but costs enormous time. Christian Ostrowski and Chris Galecki are next on the road. A veteran at Western events, Ostrowski knows there will be attrition, so a cautious approach is best. On the dashboard is the Rally Safe interface, flashing green to warn of Wallingford's car off the road. He nearly gets sucked into the same snowbank. Without any sign of the crashed crew, they stop to help Wallingford. In only his 6th event, the shake-up at the top has opened the door for Ken Warwick. With veteran co-driver Chris Kramer calling the notes, Warwick is proving to be both smooth and fast in these slippery conditions and is posting top 5 times from the start. The two-wheel drive class is extremely competitive this weekend. Philippe Benoit's experience on the icy roads in Quebec are serving him well here in the mountains, immediately squaring off with Dave Clark and Jamie Willits. The conditions give Benoit the advantage, but Clark knows when to push and when to be patient. His BMW M3 also has a power advantage over Benoit's Mini. The defending two-wheel drive champions Wim Vanderpoel and Brian Lord are slightly off the pace, but they earned their championship last year by being the fastest when it counted and not taking crazy chances. They're coming off a class win at Rally des Filles and would love to repeat here this weekend. Nick Wood and Chana Imber's Datsun may look like a classic, but it's got a lot of potential under the hood, and they're setting quick times. The sun sets, but the action doesn't stop at the Pacific Forest Rally. The fans light up the campfires and cheer on their heroes. Ken Warwick's smooth and fast approach pays dividends in these conditions. He's up to 3rd overall after 4 stages. Sam Albert fights through the slippery stages to hold on to 2nd place. Carrel Carré proves that old tricks still work, riding the skinny Michelin tires to a solid lead by the end of the loop.
T'as commencé à le pogner, là.
Ouais, mais à la fin.
Carré, Albert, and Warwick currently hold the podium spots. Benoit leads in two-wheel drive in 4th place overall, only 2 seconds behind Warwick. Half of the top 10 drivers are in the two-wheel drive class. It's a new day of rallying in the mountains when we come back. Welcome back to the Pacific Forest Rally, Round 5 of the Canadian Rally Championship. After surviving the Friday evening stages, teams return to the same roads for the start of Day 2 and are wary of conditions.
Yeah, the day looks tricky a bit this morning. Weather came in yesterday night, and we went with the tire choice for the C5 that we used yesterday morning. Seems like it's the right tire, but we'll see how it goes.
We went on gravels, we didn't do snows. I saw that Carter is back on his mud, so I think he'll be able to stay on the lead, but I think a lot of people behind us are on gravels as well. And then if Carter has a mistake, we'll capitalize. Other than that, we're going to try to keep staying on the podium.
And the competition is fierce in the two-wheel drive class.
We got to start absolutely ferocious, not to let Vim reel us out. We'll try to not let that gap fade away and hold on. Push hard.
With almost a minute lead, Carrel Carré and Samuel Joyal are first on the road again this morning. The test racing team came west to solidify a lead in the championship points battle. And without Joel Levac or Maxime Labrie in attendance this weekend, a win would give them a big advantage for the second half of the season. Their overnight lead allows them to take a more conservative pace this morning. It would be a shame to come all this way and end it with a crash, but the cattle in this area really do take the words free range to heart.
Droite 3000 short, ici. Long gauche 4, vraiment 3 short tard. Long gauche 4, vraiment 3 short tard.
A close call, but Carré presses on. Sam Albert and Krista Skoukas have the best chance of challenging Carré. They have more experience on these roads than the team from Quebec and hope to use that to their advantage today. While Carré is still betting on the narrow C5s, Albert thinks the gravel tires will be better suited to the conditions today. But before the fight can develop, a hub failure drops Albert and Skoukas out of contention.
What?
Maintaining a consistent pace, Christian Ostrowski and Chris Galecki are hoping to work their way up the leaderboard today. They're off to a good start, riding that fine line between speed and traction and posting top times. To keep pace with the fastest all-wheel drive cars this weekend. The class is led by Philip Benoit and Peter Brook in the Mini, currently in 4th place overall and only seconds out of the hunt for the overall podium. They're pulling away from Dave Clark and Jamie Willits in the BMW M3. The American is losing time with a malfunctioning cooling fan. At speed, there's enough airflow to keep the engine cool, but on the slower sections, the temperature is rising quickly. Clark is under pressure from Nick Wood and Chana Imber in the classic Datsun. They win the Bravery Award, pedaling the rear-wheel drive Datsun to a second fastest overall time on the first stage of the day. They're followed by the Mark II Ford Escort of John Hill and Billy Irvin. The classic Ford is staying well ahead of the modern Ford of defending champions Wim Vanderpoel and Brian Lord, who lose time with 2 flat tires. Ken Warwick and Chris Kramer won't be baited into a costly battle on the morning stages. While they conceded 3rd place to Benoit by the end of the loop, they're still in a strong position to earn a spot on the podium. The road conditions are getting worse as the stage kilometers tick by. The surface is an inconsistent mix of slush, mud, and gravel. Warwick's conservative strategy could be the winning ticket. On the other hand, an aggressive drive sees Tony Torsha and Rebecca Rustin rapidly climbing the leaderboard. They're up to 6th overall. Carré ends the loop with a comfortable lead, followed by Ostrowski. Benoit, Warwick, and Clark are duking it out for the remaining podium spot with a spread of 30 seconds between them. The teams head back to service after the break. week in Merritt, British Columbia, and the competitors at the Pacific Forest Rally returned to service to regroup and repair before the final push to the finish.
Yeah, it was really good actually. We had a blast. First loop was great. The tire choice was amazing, and second pass we just kept it cool, making sure we don't wear off the tire too much, and that's it. It was great for us.
We chose the right tires, AO34s, so that was the great choice. Second half was we had a seized rear left caliper, so pretty much every right corner was full sideways. Scary stage to be full sideways actually. Other than that, yeah, we fixed it. We managed to get through second stage, so we'll manage our speed and keep going, and hopefully if we're second, we're gonna try to keep the position for the rest of the day.
First run, we were on a lot of snow, didn't have snow tires, and it was just a bobsled ride for most of it. No braking, no control. So we took it really easy, happy to get down safely, played with some cattle. And then second pass through, it had opened up, melted, and we were able to put that in a pretty good time, left a little in the reserve still, and we're looking forward to running in the afternoon on gravel. It's going to be fun.
The battle for two-wheel drive supremacy is forcing all the teams to double down on the service prep.
We've been having some issues with the bolts in our rear diff. We've had one of those pop out on us. We've been tightening them every stage. This run, we ended up having throttle issues with it sticking full on, and cooked our brakes trying to keep the power down going through a lot of those hairy turns. But things started to come back on the transit back, so we'll get out there.
Very good start, but during the first pass we damaged the tire quite a lot. It was a good gamble in the beginning, and at the end it bite us back a little bit. So, but no puncture, we're here and still on the lead. So overall, it's a good loop. Yeah, and the battle shift towards Dave Clark, who's got so much power and so he's so good on gravel. It's gonna be tough to hold him back, and already it took us, because of the tire that were almost gone at the end of the stage, it took us some time. So at the end of the day, I'm worried. For sure, I have to be honest, I think he's gonna catch us, but we'll do our best and having fun doing it.
All right, so the first run this morning, it was obviously really slippery. We were wishing we had snow tires. And then my throttle issue came back. It stuck open once, and then I was just really shy, going down that mountain for the rest of the night with a throttle that might suddenly try and kill me. So we were overly cautious. And then on the transit, we think we got the throttle thing fixed and had a little overheating scare, but that turned out to be okay. And when we hit the stage again, we found it to be mostly really grippy, and yeah, I drove in maybe a little anger, and our times were good. Our times were solid, and yeah, proud of that one. It made me remember why rally is so awesome. It was good fun.
Service complete, the teams head back out for the final stage of the event, a final sting in the tail of this rally, known as Spias. To recap, Carré leads with nearly 4.5 minutes over Ostrowski in second. Benoit, Woolrick, Clark, and Torsha are spread out by less than 45 seconds in the battle for the remaining podium spot. All the cards are on the table for the final stage of the Pacific Forest Rally when we come back. Welcome back to the Pacific Forest Rally. The teams are all in for the final stage of the rally, but it will test everyone's perseverance. Based on weather reports, most teams have arrived on gravel tires, but they're about to face the deepest snow they've seen yet. The Canadian Rally Championship is presented by Subaru Canada. Confidence in motion. Having led the rally from the start, Karel Carré and Samuel Joyal will once more be first on the road. Nearly 30 kilometers long, Spias is like Pacific Forest Rally's final exam, combining fast-flowing runs with sudden technical sections and plenty of gotchas. With almost 4.5 minutes in the bank, there's no way the defending champions are going to take any risks on this stage. On the other side of the coin, Ken Warwick and Chris Kramer pull out all the stops and make a major push. They find their rhythm in the sloppy mess, winning the stage outright and leapfrogging both Benoit and Ostrowski on the leaderboard to move up to second overall.
Caution braking right 4, don't. So that's left 5 into caution braking right 4, don't into left 4.
The stage is getting more slippery as each kilometer passes, and Christian Ostrowski and Chris Galecki are just focused on keeping the car on the road. They're determined to get to the finish, and stepping on the podium would be a major accomplishment after battling brake issues this afternoon. Two-wheel drive, lengthy repairs and service earned Dave Clark and Jamie Willits a penalty, dropping them behind Nick Wood and Shauna Imber in the Datsun. Both teams managed to keep their rear-wheel drive cars well ahead of most of the all-wheel drive cars, an incredible feat in the treacherous conditions. But it's Quebec's Philippe Benoit who owned the two-wheel drive class at the Pacific Forest Rally. Philippe and co-driver Peter Brook finished just outside the overall podium in 4th. Closing out the final few kilometers, Karel Carré and Samuel Joyal kept their championship aspirations in their sights all weekend. Skillful driving and careful strategy earned them the win on 7 out of 8 stages. Carré takes home the win. Warwick and Ostrowski round out the national podium, both stepping onto it for the first time. Benoit wins two-wheel drive, moving him back into the championship lead. As the only driver in the top 5 to travel west, Carré's win earns him a massive 38-point lead in the championship.
It wasn't easy. I mean, the last stage was quite something. A foot and a half of snow with gravel tires wasn't the best thing, but I mean, everybody had the same tires, so it was just steady through, making sure that we don't have a bad luck and that we're here right now. So it's amazing.
Well, yeah, so our first national podium for us. Chris and I have done 4 events together now, and we just came out here trying to have a clean finish. So, yeah, we're really, really happy. I mean, just couldn't ask for more. We're second place overall, and best time, last stage, so over the moon.
Well, we're happy to have first national podium. We're second, lost it on the last stage, but we're still here on the first national podium. The rally was a lot of problems, so we're extremely happy to be here.
This is the best possible scenario. Of course, it would have been better if Vim and Clark didn't have any problems, so it was till the end a big battle. But anyway, it happens to me so many times, as I said earlier. I will take it as it is. I didn't stall anything. We did work very hard, and that's the result. I'm proud of it, and I'll take it.
3 more rallies are left in the 2019 championship. Can anyone challenge Carré? Can Benoit claim his first two-wheel drive championship? That's all to come.
Cinq, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. 80. Straight over crest, flat out. Après ça, c'est into break, maybe jump, big jump. Attention, big jump. Attention, don't jump. 80. Pompe. Into droite 3, short. Je répète, droite 3. Short, droite 3. Gauche 4 short, cut inside, into straight over flat crest, into droite 3, opens au deuxième crest, droite 3, opens au deuxième crest, droite 3, opens, deuxième crest, into straight over crest downhill, into droite 5 short, Gauche 5, short, uphill. 30. Gauche 4, uphill. Gauche 4. Into. Droite 5, short, going over flat crest. 60 gravel. Gauche 6. Into droite 6, short. Into straight over small crest, flat out. Into straight over small crest. Into droite 6 over jump, OK. Droite 6 over jump, OK. Into straight over dip, attention, straight over dip. Into straight over smooth crest. Into droite 6. Into droite 6 ici. Into gauche 5, begins on flat crest. Après gauche 5, begins on flat crest. Soit opens. 60, attention, straight over big jump, attention. Straight over big jump, attention. Into droite 4. Gauche 4 short. Into droite 4. Into gauche 4 long width small crest. Into droite 5. Into straight over flat crest. Droite 5 to straight over flat crest. Into droite 5 with crest. Droite 5 with small crest. Ici into droite 4 over crest. Droite 4 over crest. Gauche 5 opens. Into gauche 4 with smooth crest. Gauche 4. Into straight over smooth crest. Attention, straight over jump. Straight over smooth crest. Into attention, straight over jump. 40. Droite 2 après. Droite 2 pinch inside pour gauche 4. Droite 2 pinch inside. Gauche 4. Droite 5 short over crest. Into droite 3 over crest. Droite 5 short. Droite 3 over crest. Je répète, droite 3. Into gauche 6 opens. Into gauche 4, keep in over 2 small crest. Gauche 4, keep in over 2 small crest. Pour attention, droite 3 downhill. Attention, droite 3 downhill. OK, droite 3 downhill. 40, droite 6 short. Je répète, droite 6 short into gauche 3 medium. Gauche 3 medium. 60. Droite 3 minus. Droite 3 minus. Into gauche 3 opens over crest. Into droite 3 minus uphill. Droite 3 minus. Into gauche 2. Je répète, gauche 2. Into droite 2 long. Into gauche 2 short. Droite 4. Gauche 2 short, droite 4. 40. Gauche 2 keep in pour droite 4. Je répète, gauche 2 keep in, droite 4.
Ouais, easy.
Droite 3 uphill. Into straight over smooth crest. Into straight over small crest. Into straight over small crest. Into flat out. Into droite 2 begins on flat crest. Attention, droite 2 begins on flat crest. Droite 2 begins on flat crest. 40. Gauche 4 downhill. Opens. Je répète. Gauche 4 downhill. Opens. 60. Straight over smooth crest. 40. Droite 6, attention, deceiving Y gauche après. Droite 6, deceiving Y gauche après. Y gauche, deceiving. 40, danger, droite, gauche 2 sur pont béton. Attention, danger. Gauche 2 béton, danger. Gauche 2 béton, droite 2, gauche 2, excuse-moi. Pont béton. Gauche 2 short. Into gauche 3, over crest. Into droite 2, attention, d'avance. Droite 2, attention. 80. Kink droite, flat out. Into gauche 4 après. Gauche 4, droite 3. To gauche 3. Into droite 2 downhill. Je répète, droite 2 downhill. Gauche 4 opens. 80. Straight over small crest. 40. Droite 5. 40. Droite 5. Gauche 4. Sleepy maybe. Droite 5. Gauche 4. Sleepy maybe. Straight over small crest into care. Straight over crest jump, stay mid après. Care. Straight over crest jump, me. 60. Gauche 6. 60. Gauche 5. Droite 5 uphill. Gauche 5. Droite 5 uphill. Into droite 2 on flat crest après. Droite 5. Into droite 2 on flat crest. Je répète, droite 2. Gauche 4. 40. Gauche 3, don't cut. Droite 2 on crest. Gauche 4. Gauche 3. Gauche 3, don't cut. Droite 2. Droite 2. 40. Gauche 4 médium. Je répète, gauche 4 médium.
Deceiving.
Deceiving. Droite 2, attention, droite 4, Titans 2. Attention, droite 4, Titans 2. Titans 2. Into droite 2. Droite 2 ici, droite 2. Into kink gauche. Into droite 4 après. Into droite 4. To gauche, droite 3.
Jump.
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 Droite 60, attention, je pense que c'est droite 4 with dip, attention, droite 4 with dip, attention. Ou jump, je pense. Je suis perdu dans mes notes un peu. Downhill, droite 4, je pense, droite, gauche 5. Je suis perdu dans mes notes, ok? Je suis perdu dans mes notes. 40, attention, droite 4, on crest, don't go wide. Into gauche 5 with small crest, into gauche 3 with small crest. Je répète, gauche 5 with small crest, into gauche 3 with small crest. Gauche 3, droite 2 with small crest après ça. Gauche, droite 2, droite 2, droite 2. OK. Droite 6, into attention, jump. Droite 6, attention, jump. Jump. Into, gauche 4. Into droite 4. 60. Gauche 3 long. Into droite 2 long, droite 2. Into flat crest, into gauche 4 downhill, gauche 4 downhill. 60. Droite 3 don't cut, droite 3 don't cut. 40. Droite 6 with small crest flat out. 60. Droite 3 off camber, don't go wide. Je répète, droite 3 off camber, don't go wide. 80. Gauche 6 on small crest, absolute flat out. 140. Prochaine instruction, gauche 4. Into droite 3, don't go wide. Gauche 4. Into. Droite 3, don't go wide après. Droite 3, don't go wide to droite 2. Don't go wide, droite 3. To droite 2, gauche 3. Je répète, droite 2, gauche 3. Into straight over small crest, 60. Gauche 4. 60. Droite 4 with small crest. Into gauche 4 with small crest. Into gauche 5 over small crest, jump maybe. 60. Droite 4 short over small crest. Into gauche 4, droite 4. Je répète, gauche 4, droite 4. Into gauche 5. Droite 6 short over small crest, flat out, 80. Gauche 5 over small crest, don't go wide over finish, or burn maybe. Sur le finish, le gauche 5, don't go wide. C'est beau.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go 40, crest and 6 right minus, opens 80. And 5 left in, keep in at exit, and 6 right, crests 60. 6 right, crest 60, slippy 4 right in, 60. 6 left and 6 right, opens over jump. And keep in left over crest and to keep right over jump. And short 6 left. And to keep right over crest and to 6 left minus 40. 6 left minus 40. Slippy crest and slippy 4 right camber. 100. Line in the slippy 3 left plus. And 4 right plus. 80. And 4 right plus. 80. Short 5 right minus in, and 6 left, into small crest, in, short 6 left, into 6 right, opens over crest, 40, 5 left plus in, loose 80, short 5 right minus in over kick, 40, 6 left crests, into 6 right in, and 6 left plus 100. 6 left plus 100. Keep right over jump, 40, 5 left plus over kick, 100. Keep mid right over crest, 40. Another keep mid right over crest, into slippy 4 left, 80. 6 right in over crest, 100. 6 left plus crests, and keep mid right over crest, and keep middle over crest, 80. 3 right minus narrow camber, 80. 6 right, 40. Crest and 5 left minus over crest. Opens 20, tightens to 6 in, 40. 5 left minus in, half long opens. And 6 right minus slippy, 80. 6 right plus, and to keep left over crest, and a 3 right, 40. 3 right minus camber over crest, 80. 4 left minus slippy, half long, opens after crest, in. And 5 left plus, in, 80. 6 right minus, keep in, and 5 left plus, in over crests, opens and tightens. Into 6 right, don't cut, and 6 left plus, into 6 right plus over jump, 120. 6 right plus over jump, 40. Crest and 6 left plus, 100. Second crest and 6 left plus 100. Big crest, middle, and 6 right crests into short, 6 left crests, 30. 5 right minus cut. Again, 6 left, 5 right minus cut. And long line to 4 left minus slippy. 4 left minus slippy, 40. 5 right minus in, 80. 6 right plus and 6 left in over crest, 60. 6 right in, 6 left crests, 30. Slow 4 right minus, keep in. Slow 4 right minus, keep in. Into 4 left plus, opens over crest. 40. 5 right minus, in. 6 left plus over crest. In. 6 right plus 40. 6 left minus over crest, continues over second crest. 120. Short, narrow, 4 left minus, keep in, crests, into 5 right, left over crest, 100. 4 left, 4 right minus, slippy, tightens, maybe, in, and crest, middle, into 5 left minus, 40. 4 left plus, 4 left plus, into 5 right minus, over crest, keep out, into 6 left plus, over crest, 80. 6 right over crest, continues 40, tightens to short 5 over crest, 20, 4 left plus, in 5 right plus, in over crest, 100, 5 right plus, in over crest, 80, 6 left over big crest, 20, double tightens to short 5 over kick, and 5 right, double tightens to short 4, 5 right, double tightens short 4, and 6 left, 40, 6 left 40, jump 60, 6 left plus, opens over jump 40, keep right over crest, and 6 left 40, caution 5 right tightens that kick, to 4 minus, tightens to 4 minus, and 5 left in, continues over crest, and crest to the 4 right minus, 50, 2 left wide, opens, 40, line into 3 right plus, camber continues, 60. Jump in, 5 left minus, opens over crest, 140. 6 left, crests in, 6 right plus, crests 20. 5 right minus, in, slippy exit. In. 6 left in, continues over crest, and opens over second crest, 80. 6 left plus, into keep right over crest, and a 6 left plus, in over crest, continues to 6, 80. I'm not with you here. Continues to 6, 80. 6 right opens over crest, 80. Crest and short, 6 left plus over jump, and 5 right, 100. 4 left plus in, 40. 5 right minus. right minus, in. Crest in the jump, and slip 5 left, keep in. Into 5 right plus 80. 5 right plus 80, 6 left. 6 left, in, 6 right, done.
I'm happy to be back. Alan and I, we want to have a good time.
Brake, slippy crest 30, keep right, to left 3 long. Into right 5 plus 150.
droite 43.
We're stopped.
We were hoping for a first.
You can do this.
No, I know.
Believe in yourself.
And
Don't look at the rest.
You too.
I know I can. I did it already.
Oh!
Welcome back to CRC Live. I'm Nathalie Richard. If you're just joining us, we hope that you're enjoying this footage that we've shown from previous rallies. If you're aware of what we're doing here at all, it's the first time in North America that some kind of live streaming transmission of this sort has ever been attempted. Naturally, we've had some glitches along the way, but we appreciate everyone sticking with us through it. Sometimes there's a lot of moving parts to this, so sometimes our crews that are on site need to relocate, and so we take a bit of a break and show you some footage from past events or past years. Now, we had a bit of a break in the broadcast earlier this afternoon, late evening, and while we were gone, there was quite a bit of excitement or action that took place. There are notably some teams that are missing from the leaderboard that you see now. Martel and Durant, who were leading the rally for most of it until that break, they're out with engine problems. Also, the Sears rolled, they're okay, but they're out. The Arsenaults are out with electrical problems. As of just recently, Brisebois is out. He was running as high as third. He also had mechanical problems. If you look at the leaderboard, Leo Erlichich, who is running the rally with his co-driver, it's her first event ever, not just her first Tall Pines, but her first event as a co-driver, Tatiana Nikoleva, and they are running in first place, almost 10 minutes ahead of Berube and Leblanc, who are having a fantastic rally themselves. And in third place, we've got Benoit and Dubé. They are 16 minutes behind the leaders. So right now we have two crews that are on the last two stages of the event. They're spectator points, spectator stages. They're there to show us hopefully some footage of the cars as they go around this stage twice. It's back to back. As I mentioned, there are only two stages left in this rally. The drivers and co-drivers have completed 13 stages already at about 168 kilometers of speed. They're also about 325, 326 kilometers of transit. Those are regular road rules that they've already completed. So it's been a long day for everyone. I'm hoping that Dean is ready and he might be able to tell us what he's doing right now at stage 14 of the 2019 Lincoln Electric Rally of the Tall Pines.
Thanks, Natalie. Yeah, we're here at the start of cross country. It's a brand new stage. Behind me, Zero Car is just about to take the start and make sure the stage is clear, ready for the competitors to drive through. And I have to say, this part of an event is always my favorite, and this is really what captured my attention, captured my enthusiasm for rally way back when, was this idea of the night stage, right? It's, you know, so much motor racing we're used to seeing happening during the day is pretty normal, and then these cars, they strap all the extra lights on the front, and as a spectator, you're standing in the woods, it's dark, it's quiet, there's a cloudy sky right now, so no stars out, no full moon, nothing like that. And you're just waiting, and you can hear the car, and then the lights come on, and you'll see lights just through the treetops as the car gets closer and closer and closer, and finally flies right by in a hurry and then slowly disappears. And I think it's just this magical part of the sport that that I hope everybody gets a chance to see, whether in person or through broadcasts like this. It's just a really, really incredible experience to just see that car coming along. So I'm excited. We've got cars coming up. We're waiting for the first competitors to arrive at the stage. For now, we'll go back to you, Nat.
Thanks, Dean, and thanks for being out there in the cold all day long while I sit here in my cushy, warm studio in Toronto. You guys have been very good sports, and it's great to have your knowledge and your talent and your expertise out there on site. Now we're going to go to James Drake, who is also at the same stage, stage 14 of the rally. James, tell us what you're doing.
Well, Natalie, I am not staying warm like you are in your little studio there. But we're out here, we're ready for the cars. We're actually at the spectator area on this brand new stage, the cross-country stage. As you can see behind me, we've got tons of fans kind of sitting here patiently to see those cars come in. We've got a bunch of marshals here, we've got the VIPs are here. We're going to get some few interviews with them and the hosts of the VIP. We've got Chris Martin and Eric Ockwell we're going to see on camera in a moment. The fans are ready, we're ready, we're waiting for those cars anytime soon. So with that, I think we've got a few of the course cars are coming soon, but let's go back to the stage, back to the studio, and you, Natalie, in your nice warm little chair there.
Yeah, that's right. I've got considerably fewer layers on than you do, James. I'm nice and comfortable. I did mention that we turned off the air conditioning, but I'm okay with that. Everything is good. You're all bundled up. I see you put on a few more layers, which are probably helping, but I have to say that everyone who is out there now, you know, they're all enjoying the rally. They're bundled up. They're out there in the cold, but they're there for a good reason, because rally is awesome. We can all agree on that. I think everyone who's tuned in, you know, they're commenting, they're loving the footage, they're loving the coverage. I mentioned this before, it's the first time that any kind of coverage, live streaming like this has been done in North America. We're trying something new. We're getting a lot of great feedback on Facebook, lots of comments there. People are enjoying the fact that this is available. You know, obviously we can't have cameras and hosts at every single stage. That's virtually impossible. But we're doing the best we can, and we appreciate everyone's feedback. Thanks for tuning in. And here's a word from our series sponsor, Subaru of Canada.
Subaru has been in Canada for a long time.
building a reputation as champions in the toughest of conditions. 13-time Canadian Rally Manufacturers Champion and counting. Claim your own piece of history for $29,995. Subaru, confidence in motion.
That's great. We've mentioned many times already today, Subaru Canada is a series presenting sponsor. They've been involved in rallying Canada for a long, long time. I was lucky enough to be part of Subaru Team Canada in 2014 and again, starting in 2004 and again in 2014. I love the fact that they're involved. Subaru and rally are kind of synonymous in North America and around the world. So thank you to them for all their involvement in rally throughout the years. I think we're going to head back to James. As we saw, he's on stage 14 in the spectator area. He's got lots of fans behind us. James, anything new for us?
Not a lot of news, thank you, Nathalie, but I am here with Chris Martin. Now, Chris Martin is one of the previous winners of the Rally of the Tall Pines, hosting the VIP program. Chris, what has it taken these last few stages to keep it on the road, keep it safe, and bring the kind of event home?
You know, this is these last couple stages are probably the most grueling stages that you're going to do all year in this entire championship. It's really mentally draining. You've been going since 9 in the morning, and now you're just thinking about getting it home. You're not thinking about, you know, competing with anybody per se. I mean, they're probably pretty spread out, and it's get it through here. I mean, it's so easy to throw away everything that you've worked for all day in the dark, and you got to focus. Yeah.
It's hard to focus. I mean, you're tired. You probably haven't eaten well all day. You know, you've kind of got this attrition's kind of setting in. You just got to bring it home. Those are wide words. What do you do to focus? Do you have any sort of special rally routines kind of coming out of that last service to go, yeah, I've got 18K a stage left?
You got to think about the end. So yeah, you think about 18K, you think about what it's going to take to get there, you think about what you got to hold on to, and you're thinking towards the end. I mean, at this point, again, this is like a marathon event, so you're like, all right, I've gotten this far, the end isn't that hard. That's all you have to think about. It's not going to be like, this is a great big challenge. It's like, this is going to be easy. I made it all day. What's 2 more stages, right? But at the same time, it's just, you got to keep going. It can get you for sure.
Thanks very much, Chris. And you've been holding the VIPs kind of in good stand all day. Any kind of exciting things coming out of the VIP program?
A lot of good people here. A lot of return guests. They've been here 2 and 3 years and they love it. So you know, anybody else out there watching at home, I mean, this is my first time and this is like a relaxed spectating for me. I'm kind of warm and I'm fed and I'm not really tired. So.
Don't make us all jealous, Chris.
Yeah, sorry.
Thanks very much, Chris. We're going to hit it back to Nathalie in the studio, and we'll be back with some live cars right after this.
Great to hear from Chris. I think it's funny that he said he's warm, he's fed, and he's not really tired. I'm not sure if he's at a rally if he's saying that. But Chris is a former winner of the Rally of the Tall Pines. He is helping host the VIP program with the 2 Ockwell brothers. If you've never taken part of the VIP program, look into it for next year. I'm sure you're going to enjoy yourselves. We hear lots of great feedback about that. Now, what I'm told are that the cars are starting to arrive at the start line of stage 14. Let's go back to Dean and see if he can see some cars and have any news for us about the previous stages.
Great, thanks Nathalie. Yeah, the cars are stacking up here and we've got a few of them lined up behind me. It's just now these final moments, and a lot of what now goes on, especially this late in the game, is just drivers and co-drivers concentrating on their focus, making sure they've got the mental game set up the way they want. We've got the first car now pulling up to the timing control. They'll pull up basically right beside us to start, and we'll show you what that looks like. Drivers and co-drivers will talk about the character of the stage they're about to enter, what they need to know about, any key gotchas that are important along the way, just so that they're fresh in their mind about what exactly lies ahead. And yeah, first car on the road is Leo, so they'll be pulling up in just a moment. I'll step back out of the way. You'll get a good shot of the car and watch as the lights come on, the countdown goes, and they blast off into the woods. So we'll wait just a moment here while they finish their timing back there. But what a drive from this pair. I mean, to do a first rally as a national rally, first ever rally in a national event and be leading is something else. And the lights are up. They're pulling to the line. Just a quick check of the lights. Now we'll have a bit of a countdown here for them. We've got a countdown tree on the other side of the road, so the driver and co-driver can watch that. The co-driver will count down verbally as well, just so the driver can concentrate, hear both in their ears as well as see what they're seeing, and get ready to enter the stage. And as I mentioned before, I mean, Leo's done this event many times. He's brought his girlfriend here, and this is her first experience in a rally, and here they are leading national overall. Now you'll notice Leo's tucked in his mirrors. This is something he does for a little extra aerodynamic advantage. He feels it works, and I don't know if they've done some testing, but that's their answer. We can see that countdown light is up. 3, 2, 1. And there we go into the night. One of the most spectacular parts about rallying is to see those cars head off into the woods in the dark. And yeah, what an incredible view. We've got the next one pulling up to the line now. I think this should be David Berube and Mary-Lou LeBlanc. You know, it's so dark here that all I can see are headlights and flashing orange lights, but as they pull up, we'll see how that goes. And these two running their first time at Tall Pines together, and they've run for many years together in this Subaru, and prior to that in a Volkswagen Golf. They've got lots of experience, and they are partners in life as well as in the cars. They know each other extremely well, and you know, managing this kind of event and this kind of enthusiasm and pressure, even when you're tired, to come to a drive like this and be on track for a podium is something else. So really excellent performance from these two. And I'm sure all the fans watching back in New Richmond, Quebec are going to be very excited, having lots of celebrations tonight about the performance that this team has put on. Just this kind of quiet before the storm here. Again, talking over what lies ahead, what's on this stage. This is a new stage for every team here, whether they're new to this event or not, because it's a new addition this year to the schedule. And so everybody's coming in with their first crack at the notes. Lights are up now. 10 seconds. 5, 4. And that open car there, you saw the way that car took off. They use what's called launch control, so the car is set to idle, not idle. Oh, and we're going to head over to James in the spectator area now.
Yep, we're back here in the spectator area. The fans are ready. We're ready to hear them. Here it comes. We think this is Crazy Leo and his co-driver. You can see the lights on the car. Brand new stage. You can tell they're taking it a little bit easy on that. The corner is looks to me like a bit of a kind of a don't cut over there. Now the lights hit on it, which means there's a bit of a ditch. We have no idea kind of how the car's going to react going around the corner now that they're hitting the stage for the first time at speed. Now, by our calculations, we should see the next car in just under 2 minutes as well. So we're going to throw it back to Dean on the start line. Dean, do you have anything for us?
And we're at the start line now with Philippe Benoit and Eric Dubé, and wow, what a performance from these guys as well. They've been solid from start to finish, really disciplined in their drive, and leading two-wheel drive from start to finish. It's a great drive. Philippe Benoit has been working to develop this car over the last few years, and it seems like he's really got it figured out now. It's working the way he wants, it's proving reliable, and he must just be having huge fun. We've seen smiles on their face. And next, you know, in a moment, once we see them head out, or we'll head shortly over to James, the spectator area. After these guys head into the stage. to James then in the spectator area.
Thank you very much, Dean. Welcome back. We saw Leo go through here. Second car on the road. It won't be the second car number 2, but they should see the lights just come across that. We'll see if they're going to pick up a little bit more speed. Now, as Chris said, you got to bring it home in these few stages. You've really got to keep her clean. 18K is really easy to lose this event on, but you're not going to win the event, but you're really going to stay in those positions. And we've got the opportunity of seeing a two-wheel drive up here on the overall podium. Here come the lights. We'll see how far that they can push around this corner. I sadly can't see the car numbers to give you exactly who it is. We get a little bit of a Scandinavian flick. Squealing of those tires. You can see the exhaust pipe lining up in the dark, which is just awesome to see. If you look closely, you're also going to see the brakes. They're going to be red hot as well, and because they're going to be pushing those brakes as well. We're going to throw it right back to Dean on the start line. Dean, who else have you got?
And we're on the start line with Sebastian Clark and Eric Guite. Now, these guys have had a bit of a difficult event with a few mechanical problems. They're running a sequential gearbox, and getting it to work just right has been a bit of a trick. But thankfully, they've been able to restart each time they've had any kind of difficulty, and that's going to be a big asset in terms of moving towards that learning process, understanding how all that equipment works. So we just got the countdown now with 10 seconds on that Christmas tree there. Them off the line, we head over to James Drake.
Thank you very much, Dean. It's good to be back here. Now, I believe the next car on the road will be Benoit in the Mini. Now, he has to finish, we believe, to win the two-wheel drive championship, the Canadian championship. I think he's taken the OPRC race today. That's obviously finished before they've started this, so those race kind of results get locked down. But this two-wheel drive Mini has really been pedaling really hard. They've had that rear brake issue. Hopefully that's not kind of messing them up too much. We're gonna, because this is quite a big braking scene, you should be able to kind of watch, does that back end of the car kind of be a bit squirmy? Do I see the lights coming? Yes, here come the lights. This is the BMW Mini. You can tell with those lights. It looks like a little tentative over that crest there. We'll listen to that Mini come around the corner. That glowing hot red catalytic converter at the back of the exhaust there. Absolutely fantastic. Absolutely. So we're going to throw it back to Dean for more action from the start.
And on the start line with Yves Barbe and Hubert Gaudreau, test racing. Now, Yves Barbe has been rallying a long time. He took a bit of a break for a while, but used to have this incredible Talon, Eagle Talon, that had this camouflage or a chameleon paint with flames. It was something else, and he really put that car to good use. It's exciting to see him back and what he can do with one of these Subarus. We've got 10 seconds, less than 10, 5. And into the night, we're heading over to the spectator area to join James Drake.
And we're back. The action is getting great. The cars should start coming in a minute apart very soon. We've had 3 cars pass, and remember the first 5 cars start at a 2-minute gap, hence why we have to wait a little longer. Then they're going to come thick and fast, kind of coming at us every minute. We can time, usually at a longer stage, you can tell if it's a minute 15 gap, you know, the guy's kind of a little bit slower, and a bit sooner than that, obviously closer than that. Now here we go. Next car. These lights are pretty bright. Apologies, I'm not sure who's on the road at this point. Really pushing. You can really hear the squeal of the tires, and I hope that you'll be able to pick that up. We were talking about that. That's how hard and frozen this ground is. We've got those ice tires and squealing like it's actually tarmac as well. We're going to pass it back to. No, we're not going to pass it back to Dean. Apparently, we're going to stick it here for a little bit longer as well. What we're actually going to do is throw it back to Nathalie in the studio.
That's right, James, I'll take it. Okay, so the top cars have finished the first pass of this last stage. As we mentioned before, these are the two last stages of the rally. It's the same stage that's being run twice. It's 8.08 kilometers in length, and this stage is new to the rally. None of these competitors have run it before. They're all in the same boat. They're running it on new notes, brand new, so nobody has any kind of advantage. If we look at the live tracking system right now, you can see the top three cars have finished. They have passed the flying finish at the top, and they're slowly making their way back down to the start, which is more on the southern end or the bottom end of the screen. Right now it's not showing any cars that are on the stage, but we can look and see the times. Leo and Tatiana have finished in 4 minutes 37.4 seconds, and Benoit and Dubé are 43 seconds behind them. We don't have a score there for Berube just yet. I'm sure that will be coming up very shortly. Rallies cannot often be won on the last stage, but they can be lost. I've had this problem myself. 1 year, car mechanical problems, last stage, lost the rally, the championship, the North American Championship. It can all happen. Going back to James at the spectator point on stage 14.
Thank you very much. Well, we're back here. Now they're going to start coming thick and fast. The cars are going to be coming every minute now. Here's the next car. I haven't been given a start order, so I'm not sure who it is, but let's go and watch them come around the corner. These guys are going super fast. Hard braking. One of the test racing cars, hard on the gas as they go around the corner. You see the lights filling the trees and making the left down there. That was one of the fastest times, I think, around this corner set. I think it was, they're pushing. They must be one of the test racing guys. Those cars are very well prepped. Those cars can go and they can move. So what we saw there, they were really pushing. You saw them kind of come over that first crest, brake into the corner, nice and clean around this right-hand turn, and then the lights kind of into the trees to make that left. And it's always nice. In this dark, those lights really do fill the absolute sky, so you can see. It's like daylight, right? Driving those lights with those lights. The crowd here is keeping warm, as you can see here. They're all bundled. They're bundled up. It is great atmosphere here. It reminds me of the old Castledines Corner days of old, which is great. Here we go. That's a lot of lights. A little bit slower there, being very cautious, making the right turn. That pops of the upshifts. A little bit pushing as well, which is great. Cars coming just nice and thick and fast. I was saying, the old Castledine days. It's an old famous corner back when they used to run kind of a little bit south and west of Bancroft. It was tightly packed like this, a lot of great atmosphere. Next car's coming. All these guys are pushing. You can hear the engine screaming. Let's watch these guys go through. It's the Honda CRX. Oh! The smooth purr of a Honda CRX engine. Can't hear that for miles. But you can see there, they had a little bit of understeer. Now that is actually going to be a front-wheel drive car. Very different handling to the four-wheel drives that we've seen in the past. We're going to throw it back to Nathalie in the studio for a few words.
Hi, thanks, James. I'm loving the fact that you guys are on the stage. We're getting some footage of the cars, and I'm sure everyone at home is enjoying that. We're going to have a look at the live tracking system right now. Fantastic to have this as one of our features on the coverage as well. As you can see, the cars that have started this stage, the first few cars have made their way almost to the end of the transit and back to the beginning of the final stage of the rally. 4 cars are still on stage. They're making their way to the end, but the ones that have finished are looping back to the very beginning, and they're going to run this stage for a second time. So that's 2 times 8 kilometers each. Once they finish the second time, all they need to do is get back to the headquarters, and they'll be finished the rally. Mind you, it has to be said that if there's a problem on this stage, on the last stage, and they can't get back to the final control, they do not finish the rally. So, like I said before, you can't really win it on this last one, but you could lose it. Anyway, we wish them all luck, and we're going to head back to James, I believe, still in the middle of the stage at the spectator point.
Thank you very much. I believe that was Nathalie handing it over to me. Thank you, Nathalie. We've got the cars coming. We just saw Matt Ballinger go past. He's got his rear left all taped up. Must have kissed a little bit of the nature scenery here in the Bancroft area. Cars coming nice and quiet for a change. Nice and bright lights. Good speed around the corner. Nice and smooth. You could tell production class versus the open class. Much more smoother, much more lower tone of the engine. Not a big exhaust note there, but nice and smooth around the corner. Very cautious, kept it to the left, nice bit of space. Didn't cut the corner at all there either. You never really know what the cars in front of us. When we talked about in the previous section about how that car 5 is the best, 5, 6, 7, 8, they might have cut the corner, brought a rock out of the ground that was buried, thrown it on the ground. You've got to be very cautious, very careful of what's going on the road as well. Nothing coming at the moment, but it is smooth here. The crowd is absolutely loving it. The amount of cowbells that we can hear, and whistles and horns, and I think there's a vuvuzela somewhere in the woods there, and we're hearing it every time the cars come. Great atmosphere. Absolutely love this time of night. If only if it was snowing just gently to make it perfect as well. We would probably be even more cold than we are right now. Lights over the tree tops. Let's watch these guys go through. Playing to the crowd. The BMW 325 of Kevin and Dan. One of the great things about spectators is you can play them up to a little bit as well. It's great to see some camaraderie there. We're going to throw it back to Nathalie in the studio.
Thanks very much, James. We are going to look at the leaderboard, have a look at some scores that we've got already from this stage. As you can see, I've mentioned before that Leo and his co-driver Nikoleva have won the stage, and they are still leading the rally, obviously. They are just under 10 minutes ahead in the overall standings of Bayrubé Leblanc, and then in third place to round out the podium is Benoit and Dubé. Now, each of these top 3 teams have a special story to them. We've mentioned many times that Leo and his co-driver Tatiana, it is her very first rally ever. She's doing baptism by fire by not only entering a national event, but Tall Pines, which is a super challenging event. So congrats to them for staying on top. Bayrubé and Leblanc, this is probably their highest finish. If they finish like this, probably their highest that they've ever done together. They are entering Tall Pines for the first time. And then if you look at Benoit, he is in a 2-wheel drive car finishing, if he finishes this way, on the podium. It's amazing, and it's actually their first time as a team competing together as well. So congrats to those 3 top teams. They still have one more stage to finish the rally, and we'll see if it finishes as is.
And we're back live on stage. We just saw the Volvo go past. We saw the BMW playing up with the crowd. The Volvo did the same thing. 2 cars locked in a rear-wheel drive battle. Not sure the year of that Volvo. Probably have written it down right here. 1984. A lot of people watching today, especially in the crowd, weren't even born in 1984. And the Volvo, the BMW from 1989. Great classics of the 80s there. The Volvo, very cautious around the corner. Little bouncy on the front suspension. Here we go. We also missed a few cars before that. as you said, they're coming here in a minute. Let's watch these guys come down here as well. Jim Stevens still going. It's great. To finish first, you must first finish. It's an age-old saying in motorsport. You can't just come out and finish first. You've really got to get some finishes under your belt. Not always. We're looking at Crazy Leo's girlfriend / co-driver coming out to her first event, probably winning one of the hardest events in North America. But that aside, people, you really do have to kind of come out, enjoy the sport, get some finishes, work your way through, and build your confidence and build your car to be able to kind of get out there and start winning these events. But it's fantastic to see Jim out there in that ex-factory Suzuki as well. We have here, who can we see? That's the Honda Civic. Haywan and Jonathan Cox stepping in as his co-driver. Not sure if he's last on the road. We will see car number 99 go through, and that denotes the kind of end of the stage cars, and that kind of takes the stage from live and hot as a race course back down to a kind of a traffic-controlled car, traffic-controlled road by the marshals there as well. That will also know that we are no more race cars to come. But Jonathan. Haywan and Jonathan Cox stepping in their 98 Honda Civic. So I haven't seen, we've seen the Suzuki, the BMW, the Mazda RX-7. I'm not sure if they're still running as well. But do we have any word, producer, that any more cars coming on the stage? I don't think so. Oh, he says this. So we have here, we've got a couple of cars here. Car 99 through there. So we'll see the sweep guys go through, cleaning up any mess, cleaning up any offs or anybody with a DNF. We're going to throw it back to Nathalie until the next stage comes live.
Thanks, James, and we'll give a shout out to the Ontario Sweep crew. They are an amazing bunch of people. They do a great job. We can't have our rallies without them, so thank you for making everything safe out there and making sure that everyone is taken care of. One thing I want to point out, I'm still looking at the comments on Facebook. Thanks to everyone who are joining in on Facebook and commenting. John Mary, he's saying that it's better than watching hockey on a Saturday night. I hear you, John. I just want to say, though, last time I checked, my team was up 4-0. So I am kind of keeping a watch on both. We have had all the cars go through the penultimate stage of the rally. We're going to show you the scores. Here they are now. These are the stage scores for stage 14. As we've seen several times, Leo has won the stage. Look at Clark and Guite up there. They are second on that stage. Good for them. Once these scores are all, I think we're going to be able to show you as many scores as we can for all the finishers that have gone through the stage. That's everyone who's still remaining in the rally. There's one stage left. While they are transiting and before the stage is live again, we will show you a few highlight packs from previous rallies.
I'm happy to be back. Alan and I, we want to have a good time.
Brakes, up, crest 30, keep right, to left 3 long, into right 5 plus 150.
overcrest, ça fait 47. Ça fait 47, hein, droite 43. And droite 43. OK. We're stopped.
Past the halfway point in the 2019 Canadian Rally Championship, the teams head west to face off in the mountains once again. With his main championship rivals staying home, Karel Kare has made the trip in search of major points.
We're aiming for the best points possible, but we're not aiming for a win at all costs.
We've got nothing to lose, so we could take a little bit more risk.
We were hoping for a first.
You can do this.
No, I know.
Believe in yourself.
And
Don't look at the rest.
You too.
I know I can. I did it already.
Oh!
It's always great watching that footage from across the country. Okay, so the cars have made their way back to the beginning of the final stage. That's stage 15 of the rally. It's 8.08 kilometers long. You can see on the tracker, everybody is gathered at the very bottom of the screen. It's hard to see who is who because they're all in the same spot waiting to start that stage. Now, zero car is about 2/3 of the way through the stage. Once the zero car has opened the stage, meaning they've declared it safe to start, the cars will start. The first car on the road is Leo, and earlier we had Dean Campbell at the start of the stage. He's no longer there. I know where he is. Dean, why don't you tell everyone else where you are?
Thanks, Natalie. I'm now at the end of the stage. We took the long way around, but we are at the finish or the final stage of the 2019 Lincoln Electric Rally of the Tall Pines, and double zero's already been through. Zero's on the stage right now, past the spectator area, and the first car is at the start line waiting their countdown. So we're here in the woods waiting. They will be here soon, and whoever gets here first, or we anticipate, will be our rally winners. We'll get their first thoughts as they cross the finish line. It's sure to be very, very exciting. We'll go back to you, Nat.
Thanks very much, Dean. It's been a long day. This rally takes place over one day. A lot of events are over 2 days. Rally of the Tall Pines, they do recce, which is reconnaissance, on the Friday. Saturday, it's a full day of competition. Here in studio, we've been here since about 6:30 or 7 in the morning. It's now about 10:30 at night. Everybody's had a long day. The competitors are, I'm sure, are ready to call it a day. Even though it's fun rallying and we all love it, it's a long day for them. I'm sure they're hungry. They're tired, they're probably cold too, but very soon the first car is going to start the final stage of the Lincoln Electric Rally of the Tall Pines, and I think zero car has just about finished, and he might be there with Dean right now at the end of the stage.
Yeah, and you can see the lights behind me as car zero completes the stage. This is the last car before the competitors come through. We've now got confirmation the stage is clear, ready to go. There'll just be a formality here of checking in with the time control. They'll be out of the way, and then it's just up to the competitors to do their job. Thumbs up there from the driver of the zero car. And everybody here, we've got a whole group of volunteers, marshals, including chorus car drivers. Everybody's here to having a good bit of fun. We'll head back to the studio now while we await the leaders to show up.
Thanks, Car Zero. They've had a long day as well. Thank you, Dean. Now, the first car in the rally has started the final stage. That's Leo and Tatiana. You can see them. They're about a third of the way through. We're going to go to James, who is still at the spectator point, and hopefully we can watch Leo and Tatiana as they pass by.
Well, welcome back. We're about to be running the last stage of the event. I believe they're going to be starting very soon. They should be on stage by now. They started at 22:23, which I'm sure Natalie has been talking about. But they should start that. This is the last stage. We should see the start order coming up very shortly. It should be Leo. Should be the same. They haven't done a reseat. They haven't done any shuffling. They just finished the stage, transit back round to the beginning again. We should see the lights of Leo come across that crest any moment now. So the starting order hasn't actually changed from the last stage. So we should see the Mini still running in third place. And if I could actually get my computer to work here, I would be able to tell you what that start order is. But here we go. This should be Leo. We're going to watch Leo go back. He's probably going to be a little bit faster this time through. Let's watch him. Great to see Leo come through like that. You can see the glowing brakes. That means he was pushing a little harder. Remember, it's production class. We've spoken about this a lot today. Production class, you've got to push a lot harder. So he's going to be pushing harder onto those brakes. Those brakes can't be modified like they can in an open class car, but they can, I believe they can upgrade kind of the brake fluid, but really the pads and rotors have to be much more as well. don't see any more cars kind of coming yet. I think we're going to throw over to Dean at the end. I'm sure that's what it's meaning. Dean, over to you.
And I can hear behind me the sound of an approaching car, and if that's who we think it is, then we'll have the provisional winners of the 2019 Lincoln Electric Rally of the Tall Pines, Crazy Leo Erlichich and Tatiana Nikolaeva. And what a performance, especially for Tatiana. I don't know, maybe Nathalie can check the record books whether anybody has come out their very first event and won a national rally as a co-driver. I don't know, but what a drive from them. We anticipate them coming through the last time flying finish shortly. Probably see their lights in the trees behind me before that even happens, but I can hear them just in the distance now. They've had a great drive running production class, winning production class as well as a rally overall, and you know, it's great every time Leo comes out. He hasn't had the time to be at every single round of the championship this year, but we really hope to see more of him because he's such a thrilling driver to watch and so much fun, great personality. I can't wait to see his reaction in the car, both of them really, when they get here. So, I can hear them, yeah, and signs of lights behind us. They'll be through the flying finish momentarily and then right up to the time control here. And those bright driving lights off. We'll head over. Glowing rotors here on these brakes. Man, we'll see if we can get a moment here. Leo?
Would you like the light here?
If everything has worked the way we think it is, we have the provisional winners right here in front of us. How are you feeling?
Ask the lady.
How are you feeling?
I have.
It was the best ever date, guys.
You've got your time card there. Best ever date. I mean, what a drive. Calm, collected, it seemed like. Nobody was stressed. Everybody's smiling every time we saw you.
Yeah. The bumper is there. No scratches on the car. Wow.
It was amazing. Like, yeah, this is the real fun. As he promised.
As he promised, he delivered. And it looks like you're a good influence on him because the car is spotless.
Yeah, looks like it. Yeah, good. Good. Very good. It just obviously came quite easy, but you know, we had a blast. So great. Let's do it all over again.
Yeah, so which is the next one?
No, I don't know. No plans yet. Recce for Rally Monte Carlo.
Wow.
I'm doing gravel, like some ice crew and Recce stuff there, so.
Well, that's great, but first there'll be the celebrations. We look forward to sharing that excitement with you. Congratulations to both of you, and we'll let you go.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Thanks for watching.
All right, and we're going to head back to Toronto now. Nathalie Richard.
Wow. Congrats to Leo and Tatiana. All they need now is to get back to the final control. As we've said many times today, this is Tatiana's very first rally. And let me tell you, she has been bitten by the bug. If she didn't understand before, she now understands Leo's huge passion for the sport. She loved it. She said it was the best day ever, as Leo promised it would be. We're going to go back to Dean, who's still at the end of the stage, looking at car number 2 as they come to the final checkpoint of that stage.
And here we are anticipating the arrival of the second car and who we expect to be second place. David Berube, Mary-Lou LeBlanc, and this is their first time running here at Tall Pines. A lot of firsts today, this rally, and it's pretty exciting. I know they've had some setbacks in the past, previous rallies, but such a wonderful thing for them to come through and finish on a podium here, their first time at this event. It really shows the maturity of this team. They've spent a lot of time competing together, and although this is their first time here, they brought all of that skill, all of that experience to what for them is a new event and made it look easy. So here they come in now. David Berube, Mary-Lou LeBlanc, the pride of New Richmond, Quebec. David, deuxième?
Yeah, we made it.
Congratulations. Yeah. How do you feel?
It's great. Yeah, we are very happy.
Anything to say to people in New Richmond?
Yeah, merci beaucoup tout le monde. On est vraiment content. On s'attendait pas vraiment à ça, mais on a travaillé fort.
Yeah, definitely a tough, hard performance. You guys worked hard, and all the experience you've had together has clearly made you a team ready to excel. Congratulations, your first Tall Pines. What a great show.
Thank you very much.
And we're we're going to head back to Toronto again. Nathalie Richard.
David and Marie-Lou, like Dean said, it's their first time at Tall Pines. I have to tell you that last month at the Rally Charlevoix, they finished on the podium for the very first time in a national event, and here they are doing it again in second place at the Lincoln Electric Rally of the Tall Pines. Congrats to the two of them. Their partnership inside the car, their partnership in life, and two awesome ambassadors for the sport. That's fantastic. Oh, here we are at the spectator point of the final stage. Look at those cars go through. Finally, we're able to show you guys some footage of the cars. I know you've been asking for this all day. I'm happy to be able to show these to you, so show you some footage anyway. And we're going to head back to Dean at the final stop control of the last stage of the rally.
Go. And we now are waiting on our third place team. We expect, and this is going to be something really special because you sometimes see a two-wheel drive car finish on a podium at a national event overall. Usually it's in slippery, icy, snowy conditions, but the grip that's been here this weekend, that wasn't the case, and yet Philippe Benoit and Eric Dubé just put in an incredible drive, taking not only first in class two-wheel drive, but provisionally third overall this national rally. We'll see if we can get a moment here.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
Hey, thank you so much, guys.
What a day. What a day. I can't believe that this stage is awesome, man.
Thank you for the day, guys.
My head wants to explode.
Yeah, that smile of yours is going to blow the helmet right off. Third place overall, too, in a two-wheel drive car.
Yeah, you would have told me that this morning. I would have didn't believe that. So, oh, overeating? No, it's okay.
All right, well, we'll let you get off to the podium.
Sorry,
Thanks very much. You enjoy the celebrations.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you.
And we'll head back to Toronto to Nathalie Richard.
I love seeing these guys. Every time you interview them, they are so full of excitement. You can feel their excitement. It's just palpable. So fantastic. Huge smiles on their faces. Philippe Benoit and Eric Dubé, they are competing together for the very first time at this rally. And as you could hear, Eric was, he was talking really loudly, but he was thanking the volunteers because, you know, the volunteers that come out, they have a long day as well. They're out there in the cold and they're doing this so that we can rally. So a big shout out to the volunteers. Eric was right to thank them at the very end of that stage, and yeah, it was just fantastic to hear. We're going to go back to Dean at the very end of the stage.
Thank you, Nathalie. We're here at the finish of the stage. Cars pulling through the final control again, and I have to say, to me, what stands out at this event is the success of so many of these first-time teams competing here, or competitors, whether it's Tatiana winning first overall in her first event ever, David Berube and Marie-Lou Leblanc finishing second, their national podium, but their first time here at Rally of the Tall Pines. Philippe Benoit putting his two-wheel drive car on the podium overall for first time ever is such an incredible series of performances, and to me that's what really highlights this particular event and has made it really, really a pleasure to watch. Thanks so much to everybody who's been involved, all the support, Formula Photographic, Bose Media, TV to Go. It's been a pleasure working with all of you. James, Nathalie, you've been great co-hosts. Thanks so much. We'll head back to you, Nat.
Thank you, Dean. It's been great working with you as well. We're just going to go to James, who is still at the spectator point on this final stage. James, do you have some final thoughts for us?
Well, what a day it's been. I'm still here on C2. I've had a fabulous day with this CRC Rally Live team. The fans has absolutely loved it. This event has been fantastic. The competition has been great. The competition has been fierce throughout the whole kind of, as the cars go past here, still going. That RX-7 that sounds fantastic. The competition has really been fierce all across. The OPRC event won, I believe, by the Drakes, and they have, actually I don't think that's right, but for Benoit in the two-wheel drive, and that's one of my stories today. That's my MVP, that's my player of the day. I think that is absolutely awesome to have a two-wheel drive on the podium. We're going to go back to Nathalie in the studio. Thanks very much.
Thank you, James. We're going to have a quick look at the final leaderboard. Again, we say that these cars have to make it to the very last time control before the rally is over for them. They finish the stages. There's one last transit, but here we go with the final leaderboard. And as you can see, Leo, obviously, we've said this many times, Leo and Tatiana in first place. We've got Berube Leblanc in second place and Benoit Dubé in third place. You can see the remaining leaderboard there. The top 9 are on the screen right now. It's been a long day for all these teams. I'm sure they're ready to get out of the rally car, get off their helmet, probably get some food and a little bit of sleep as well. We've had a great time. This is something that's very new to rallying in North America, trying to do a live feed, live coverage. There's a lot of moving parts. From my co-hosts, Dean Campbell and James Drake, for the entire production crew here in Toronto and in Bancroft, we thank you very much for joining us. Merci à vous tous for the 2019 Lincoln Electric Rally of the Tall Pines. It's been a great day, and we hope to see you guys back again.